Alrighty then, welcome ladies and gentlemen as we prepare to go live for Table Talk Thursday, episode 23, where we finally get back to the news. Hello, I am your host, Hope Your Brother _1, also known as David, with my co-host Fred.
Raining Death, 99, also known as Kenneth.
Alright, oh, I should change that there topic tag.
Yes. No more hurricane news. Until later.
At least until another one comes this way, which there's like still 2 of them.
As I supposedly heading west.
Oh, that's good.
That's
We're doing things a bit different here. For some reason, Kenneth felt like changing things up, so...
Well, because it's the story at the top of the hour.
Huh? What?
Equifax.
Oh, the Equifax thing. Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you may know from various news sites, Equifax, one of America's third largest, one of America's big 3 credit agencies, has been hacked, losing 143 million American and some Canadians' information, including names, address, birth date, social security card numbers, credit card numbers, etc. This is an unprecedented leak of data, one of the biggest leaks in modern history. And you're fucked. So, let's begin. Failure to patch a 2-month-old bug led to massive Equifax breach. So the Equifax breach that exposed sensitive data for as many as 143 million US consumers was accomplished by exploiting a web application vulnerability that had been patched more than 2 months earlier, officials with the credit reporting agency said.
That makes their IT team sound really bad. This is actually one of those things that I will be doing. This is what my job will specifically be for this new job.
You're part of the problem.
I'm not going to be part of the problem. I'm going to be patching them posts. Except for, there's probably going to be like, I'm like, hey, I need to patch this. Well, no, somebody over there is working on something. Well, I need to patch this. And I'm just going to be like, Equifax. That's all they do is just reference this all the time. I'm like, do you want another Equifax? This is how we get Equifax.
Yeah, it gets worse. So Equifax has been intensely investigating the scope of the intrusion with the assistance of leading independent cybersecurity firms to determine what information was accessed and who has been impacted. Most Americans have been impacted, Equifax. Come on, man. We know the criminals exploited a U.S. application vulnerability. The vulnerability was Apache struts.
So is this related to the to the mail we got from the school system?
Possibly.
Because it said the same thing. It was literally the same offer, but it came from TASB. So maybe like TASB thought their side was messed up. I don't know.
Well, supposedly this vulnerability is used by tons of different companies that have web apps. Mm-hmm. They're all built on Apache struts.
Yeah.
And
a lot of things are. I'm not going to say all of them.
Yeah, but a lot of things are. Yeah.
But a lot of them.
So the flaw in the Apache struts framework was fixed March 6th. 3 days later, the bug was already under mass attack by hackers who were exploiting the flaw to install rogue applications on web servers. 5 days after that, the exploits showed few signs of letting up. Equifax said the breach on its site occurred in mid-May, more than 2 months after the flaw came to light and the patch was available. So apparently they were already under attack. Let's see, Thursday's disclosure strongly suggests that Equifax failed to update its web applications despite demonstrable proof that the bug gave real-world attackers an easy way to take control of sensitive sites. An Equifax representative did not immediately respond to email seeking comment. As Ars Technica warned in March, patching the security hole was labor-intensive and difficult, in part because it involved downloading an updated version of Struts and then using it to rebuild all apps that use the older, buggier Struts version. Some websites may depend on dozens or even hundreds of such apps, which may be scattered across...
They have to rebuild it?
Apparently so.
That's stupid.
Well, I guess it's such an extensive patch that it's like incompatible with anything else.
Well, I guess it's because it's Struts, it's like a framework.
Yeah.
So I guess you could... Well, I don't know. They should make it more user-friendly and just easily updatable.
Blame Adobe.
Fuck you, Apache.
So, maybe scattered across dozens of servers on multiple continents.
What is it? What is it that Microsoft uses for everything? the thing we have to update all the time. Oh, .NET framework. Just be like .NET framework. Make it where you can update it all the time.
I suppose so. Yeah, I wonder how Andrew's dealing with this, considering he probably deals with a bunch of servers that probably rely on these kind of applications.
I think what he said is he was doing the same thing. So basically, I'd be kind of doing a lot of what he does because he says I think he was saying he does a lot of patching and shit, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. So that means he's probably dealing with all that struts applications.
Well, he's not rebuilding anything because that's the job of the coder.
Yeah, programmer.
But it's just like this is gonna be me whenever like this sort of shit happens. I'm just gonna look across the hall and like, hey, I need those apps done. And I'll update everything else, like all the other, Windows updates and stuff.
Yeah,
just like I look across the hall at all the super nerds.
John, get your ass down here.
Well,
Gotta get those updates.
It's like at Calendars, man. They eventually moved all the programmers to one spot, but they were building stuff from the ground up. They were taking like 5 years to build stuff, but they were doing it. I guess they were getting things done.
I guess so.
I don't know. They were interesting people. They were super, super weird. Coders are kind of weirder.
Yeah.
A different breed of non-humans. Surprised none of them were Asian.
So Apache Struts is a framework for developing Java-based apps that both run front-end and back-end web servers. It is relied on heavily by banks, government agencies, large internet corporations, and Fortune 500 companies. So, guess what? All of you will be fucked. And then the American people will be. Even more so.
Yeah.
Experian is one of the three big credit reporting services.
Why are they still using Java? Java's kind of... Java has security issues, doesn't it?
Well, Java has security issues, yes. That's why there's like 16 billion versions and updates released.
No, that's like... I know some use Apache. Apache's actually really old, too.
Yeah, Apache's old.
Why don't you guys just switch to newer shit that's not as
Well,
bad?
probably it's just like... it's something that's always worked for forever, so nobody ever bothers to mess with it because
it's one of those
like
old
why mess with something.
Things. Don't break, don't fix what's not broken or whatever.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's broken. I crashed my bike into the chicken coop today. I sliced my finger open. It's great.
So up to now, Equifax has said only criminals excluded an unspecified application vulnerability to gain access. We know it was the Apache Struts and had been fixed months before the breach occurred.
No. Basically, it just makes the Experian sound, or Equifax sound bad. Fuck off.
Fuck off, Apple.
Is that what that is? What is this? I'm trying to decipher what these boards are that we're looking at. I don't know what the fuck that is. It's a bunch of, secret memory. I don't know. I feel like that's horribly unrelated. That's enhanced. 200,000 credit cards once. Well, Equifax hackers possibly pilfered 200,000 credit cards at once. Visa and MasterCard reportedly warned U.S. financial institutions that hundreds of thousands of credit cards were stolen in the massive breach. So that'd be what happened to yours.
Mm-hmm. I mean, literally, when it came out, the credit card got stolen.
Yep. It's thought that millions of people's social security numbers, birth dates, and addresses were stolen by hackers after the Equifax breach, so why not throw in credit cards too? The latest news about the massive hack is that more than 200,000 MasterCard and Visa credit card accounts were reportedly stolen in one swoop, according to security experts Brian Krebs.
That's worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Apparently, Visa and MasterCard have sent confidential alerts to financial institutions across the U.S., warning them of possible theft due to the breach. And Equifax has reportedly said that the cards were all stolen at the same time. As many as 143 million people are thought to have been affected by the Equifax hack. That's nearly half of the U.S. population. The breach is particularly potent because Equifax, a credit reporting platform, holds such a large amount of people's sensitive information. It's among the largest hacks in U.S. history and the biggest known leak of 2017. In 2013, Yahoo is said to have lost data on roughly a record 1 billion accounts.
God damn.
Yeah, serious. Equifax learned about the breach on July 29th, but didn't reveal it for more than a month. Yes, that's also another thing that's pissing people off, and me off too. It's just like, they didn't own up to it.
Yeah, also that before this breach, they've actively lobbied Congress to reduce the restrictions and regulations on them and their data.
That's kind of fun.
And now they're going to be destroyed.
Yep. I wonder if what is it? I think PCI compliance is the compliance for
PCI,
businesses.
DCSS or something like that.
Yeah, one of them. And I wonder if they're going to come down, because that's the reason why we have to be compliant. At that financial institution I'm going to go work for.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm familiar with PCI
credit
compliance.
card agency.
I am also familiar with how anal PCI compliance is and how ridiculous it is. But yeah, it's okay. The company I last worked for, we weren't PCI compliant, even though we were supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of companies actually aren't, and I'm not.
Really
surprised.
like my last company probably also was supposed to be PCI compliant.
Anyone that handles like online transactions, anyone that handles any sort of credit card information is supposed to be PCI compliant. Anything.
Well, that's the thing. Like they say, PCI compliance is just another way for the credit card agencies to just make a bit extra money by putting in a bunch of onerous regulations.
I guess, but it also keeps everyone's information safe.
I guess
the ridiculous regulations keep people's stuff safe, at least for the most part. Anyway. The firm already said the hackers stole the credit card numbers of about 209,000 people and also got documents and personal information on 182,000 victims. But until now, credit card companies have been mostly quiet about the breach. Though Visa and MasterCard commonly tell possible victims in their institutions their cards may be compromised, it's unusual for companies to reveal what firm they think the accounts are stolen from. The notification reference is a normal communication with our issuer in these types of situations, a MasterCard spokesman said in an email, adding that the customers are not responsible for any fraudulent purchases and their accounts are protected by MasterCard. Yeah, MasterCard. In its alert, Visa reportedly said the credit card accounts may have been stolen sometime between November 10th, 2016 and July 6th, 2017. That's a really big window, according to Krebs. Equifax, however, reportedly says the accounts were all stolen at the same time in mid-May 2017. The attacker accessed a storage table that contained historical credit card transaction-related information, Equifax said. According to Krebs, the dates that you provided in your email appear to be the transaction dates. We have found no evidence during our investigation to indicate the presence of card harvesting malware or access to the table before mid-May 2017. Visa declined to comment, and Equifax didn't respond to a request for comment. Why didn't you just say Visa and Equifax declined to comment? Whatever. But there you go.
So, it keeps getting worse. And finally, some answers about this whole credit breach. So one of the main things that people are talking about is to freeze your credit. That is the most important thing you can do right now, is go to Equifax, go to TransUnion, go to Experian, or you can do it all from Credit Karma, I believe, and freeze your credit. When you freeze your credit, it will give you a PIN, so that way you can unfreeze your credit at a later time or temporarily if you're like looking at getting like a car, house, etc. That is the number one thing you can do. Fraud, credit agencies, credit monitoring services, those are all well and good, but those only stop after the fact. You can also do fraud alerts. A lot of the credit agencies do allow fraud alerts, to where it puts extra scrutiny on if somebody tries to use your get a line of credit open. I know I've set it up for my account already ages ago, and whenever I tried to get credit, one of the credit agencies called me to confirm that I was making this.
Are you in fact yourself? Yes. Well, I think most credit card companies too will tell you.
Well, no, it was Experian who called me, or Equifax, one of them.
Yeah, that's about like somebody trying to put out a card with your name and using your information, to open something.
Yeah, which is what I was doing. Was opening
what
the
you'd
line.
be worried about now.
Yes, but also apparently worried about.
Normally you would off in a little tangent talking about how your card was stolen.
Yeah, well, my card was stolen recently. I just had to go get a new card, unfortunately. Thanks to Chase.
Stolen by Mr. Bulls.
It was
It was stolen from like Jerusalem, right?
Yes, it was in Israel, Jerusalem.
So what's the extremely Jewish name?
I don't think it has a name attached to it. I think it just has the city within.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm pulling it up here now.
First it had a name attached to it. Then it did a name attached to it, your name.
It was Eryat, Jerusalem.
It was what?
Eryat, Jerusalem.
And is that where it was, or is that the person?
That's where it was.
Oh, man.
It was only like a $300 charge, too. Like, what the heck was this person buying? I'll never know. But, yeah, so somebody... I ran into enough yesterday, stole my card. And tried to use it in Jerusalem, Israel, to purchase something. But Chase's fraud alert caught it and texted me. And all I did was just reply no to the text message, and then they froze the account.
Yeah. Most of the time, like, for things like that, where it's just like, in another country, it's like, hey.
Yeah, like generally a good rule of thumb is that you can let your credit card companies know when you're going out of the state or out of the country, and like tell them, I'm going to be at this place from this time to this time, so that way they'll know whenever they see transactions from there, it's you and not a
not a terrorizer.
Yeah, not a thief.
Not a thief, not a terrorizer. Credit one black. Oh, that's a crap one black card.
God.
Yeah. So expensive.
So, in the last few days, several hundred of you have sent questions to this author about the Equifax breach and its credit freezing process. I'll quickly go through the questions and a couple points about it. I won't read the entire thing. So, do Equifax's website and phone systems actually work at this time? Yes. The company maintains that it is working, the online system and the phone system, although it was overwhelmed briefly over the last 2 days, since it is in the last 2 to 3 days since it's come to light. But it is working right now. They're experiencing high call volumes and website traffic, of course, because everybody's trying to freeze their credit colder than the Arctic. Many of you right now have said that if you receive dozens of emails, people who are able to get the freeze on the website, but they don't get the PIN. If you don't get the PIN, you may need to contact Equifax or the respective credit company to see about getting it, because without that PIN, you will be unable to thaw your credit whenever you need to purchase a car, a home, open up a line of credit, a credit card, etc. Let's see. Apparently, for the call representatives, a lot of them may not be up to date on the information that they're supposed to know. And according to, I guess, the spokesperson for Equifax, that they're aware of the issues with the call centers and are working hard to provide additional training. They probably, once this happened, they probably hired on like 200, 300 like temp agents to work.
Shit, probably more than that.
Yeah. To check it out. So, apparently there's fees to freeze your credit. I wasn't aware of that, but they're waiving the fees. At least Equifax is. I don't know whether TransUnion and Experian are. I would hope that they would be. If they're not, they're rather assholes. But they should be, because it affects them as well.
Oi.
Anyways, so that's just some of the
little gnat. Oi.
That's just some of the brief questions some people have had about it.
Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just questions and answers kind of thing.
Oh. You should cover another story then. Oh my god. Stop it, CNET! I don't care about the Apple. Stop hyping the Apple. Nobody gives a fuck about their shitty phones. Except for their constituents. Except for those people that continue to buy into shit. $1,000 for a phone.
No.
Then
you count taxes in, and that's 8 to 10%. So that's another $100.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then shipping, because Apple's not going to have free shipping.
Well, for $1,000, better have fucking free shipping.
They're not going to have free
shipping. It's like less than £2.
No, it's going to be like white glove $100 shipping kind of bullshit.
I mean, that's still ridiculous to me. Like, phones have been getting honestly ridiculously more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, the manufacturing process for phones, for processors, for CPUs, for everything, it's getting more advanced, but it's getting more scalable, and it's getting cheaper.
Yeah. So why are the phones getting more
So they keep
expensive?
getting up in price. It's a bit ridiculous.
I hope. Well, I think the Galaxy Note 8 is already not going up in price. It's still maybe like 700, 800 like normal, yeah? I think.
Yeah, what's the Note? And I know a lot of people are saying people should get the Note over the iPhone X.
Well, that's because a lot of the things the iPhone X is coming out with is stuff that's been around in Samsung. Like wireless charging.
Yeah, it's been around in pretty much Android phones from like 5 years ago.
You know, we should actually cover the Apple thing. You want to pull it up and start shit-talking the Apple real quick? Because I'm down with shit-talking the Apple. It's in tech, and we're doing tech, so...
Sure.
Find a good story so we can dunk on this. Because I don't even know enough. I didn't watch it. I just heard people bitching about the $1,000, and everybody's like, oh, the new iPhone, I'm going to get it.
Like, the screen thing, I don't know about that screen thing. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think...
So they're trying to, like, steal the Infinity screen, it looks like, almost.
Yeah, because who tried that? Somebody else tried that. Was it OnePlus One? Did they try it? Or was it LG? But somebody else has tried this, and I didn't really like it then. I still don't like it now.
The new LG thing you had just got that you were trying to tell me that I didn't want.
It might have been. But it's just like...
There's also a bunch of cool free shit coming with the Note. Like, they're shipping them with, like, the 360
camera
and
the gear, etc. And, of course, you get the S Pen, which is included with the Note, which is nice. Like, I had a Note 7. Love the damn thing.
I'm telling you, if you're not going to buy the Note 8, let me use that 50% off discount that you have. We just buy it through you.
Well, then you have to get on T-Mobile, then.
Do I?
Well,
it's a GSM phone. I don't have to get on T-Mobile.
Well, they usually lost.
Didn't you buy it third party, or did you buy it through T-Mobile?
I bought it through T-Mobile.
No, I feel like you can still use the discount. I always go to fucking Best Buy and try to use the discount. Because I think the discount's on, like, their website. On Samsung's website. So it doesn't matter.
You can prove ownership, yeah.
Yeah. You just feel like I want to unlock one. It's probably an extra $100 though for an unlock. But I could take it anywhere.
Yeah, sure. Let's read this one on The Verge. You want to just search iPhone X, and then it should be like one of the top stories.
iPhone 6.
Yeah, that middle one by The Verge.
This one?
Yeah.
Alright then.
So, the iPhone X notch is an odd design. I mean, like I said, look at that, folks. That's
it's
just
the weird
unsightly.
notch out in the phone. Like, I mean, I think it's kind of cool, but it just kind of like it kills your notification.
Like it'd be cool if they could integrate.
But see, this is one thing about the iPhones is that their notification bar and all that shit doesn't swipe down. They swipe up from the bottom.
Ah, that's terrible.
That's where all their settings, where all the buttons are and shit. You swipe up from the bottom. So the bar at the top's kind of like semi-meaningless. But I mean, it's like people that, I look at fucking all their Facebook photos, all those people that screenshot, they have like 20,000 notifications across the top bar. Kind of like Trey, for instance. Trey's one of those people. I'm like, God damn, do you never clear your notifications, man? He's just got like 100 notifications. He's got like 2 pages worth of notifications. I'm like, I've never seen that before. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't like it personally, even knowing notifications come from the bottom. I mean, it's just unsightly. I mean, would Steve Jobs have allowed that? Steve Jobs had been like, would have backhanded some folks in R&D and design and been like, no, you'll redesign that, but you'll make that speaker grill under the goddamn screen with the camera. You'll make some kind of crazy magic appear to where it's touchscreen all the way through.
Well, you know how they could fix that? Because see, there's a little bar right there. What you can do is you can keep the speaker there and just have it redirect with tubes up towards the little plastic edge. I'm not even in R&D and I'm not even an engineer, but I know you can do that and it would work.
I suppose they need to lose sound quality. It'd be easier just to move the speaker grill up to that plastic area and then move the screen down just like a fraction of a millimeter.
You won't lose anything. You don't lose anything by making it all go through a tube. That's like how subwoofers work. You don't lose sound quality by putting
subwoofers don't make sound.
Huh? They do, actually. They make tons of sound. It's just all super low frequency. I mean, that's what that kick's there for. But like, if you ever listen to music, like if you rip apart all of the other speakers, you can actually hear music through the subwoofer. Yeah, things you didn't know, I guess. But
I guess every time I hear subwoofer,
it's
just shaking.
Okay, no, that's ghetto shit subwoofer. Anytime you hear, just like somebody's fucking trunk is like breaking.
They're just shaking
all
all
the
windows in the damn neighborhood.
Yeah. That's what happens when you live in the ghetto.
I don't even live in the ghetto. The ghetto just drives by.
I mean, this is Bay City.
Like, I live in a relatively okay area.
I don't know. I'd call that kind of ghetto. I mean, you talked about how there's drug dealers that live down the street, Kenneth. That's not okay.
I suspect they're drug dealers. Because who else doesn't have a job, is always outside, sitting around with other people, and the people drive by with, like, trucks and other cars, talk for, like, 2 minutes, and then drive off. If that's not a drug dealer, I don't know what is.
I don't know. It's a good question. Rednecks, maybe?
No, they're not white.
Oh. Then, yeah.
So, because, I mean, everybody has a job. Everybody needs money. I mean, this guy doesn't work, so, like, what the hell is he doing?
Maybe he's a welfare person. One of those, like, infinite welfare. Speaking of which, my sister trying to tell me that, to go grab Snap, to go grab all this extra, we were signing up for all the
I need to go
stuff.
talk to Snap. I need to get on Snap.
No, Snap. My sister was saying, like, so we're going to go Sunday and apply. Because I guess there's a application workshop here in Bay City on Sunday.
Probably your FEMA thing coming down. I need to go talk to
FEMA left already. FEMA was down, they left. They were in Blessing yesterday.
I don't know. I want my $500. Apparently my grandma got their $500, as did my sister.
You're just I want my $500. I just signed up for my stuff today.
I gotta call FEMA because, god damn it, I spent like $600, $700 on expenses that I wouldn't have spent if not for a goddamn hurricane.
Yeah. And also check the Red Cross too. The Red Cross has a $400 thing they're giving to everybody in disaster zones for just various expenses because of things like that. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just recoup some of the costs that we had spent because we dropped like $200 on groceries and stuff like that when the time came. Mm-hmm. And then gas now is still super high. Gas was hard to find. But yeah, their site's down. So you have to call them now.
Yeah, I just gotta call FEMA.
FEMA?
They're like, God damn it, government. Hey, where's all my tax money, damn it?
My mom's trying to get the stuff done. What went down at least the Galaxy here is $328. How the fuck? How's the Galaxy $328?
I mean, if it is, hit me up.
I know, right? We're alive and well. How you doing, buddy? Were you with all the hurricane? I saw you were gone for a while, so I'm assuming your your internet died and stuff. But anyway, yeah. Hey, yesterday I remember the birthday party. It's such a wonderful. Nobody types that much. Yeah. Nobody does. Nobody does that.
Next.
Apple's new iPhone X has a spectacular edge-to-edge display that dominates the entire front of the device. Well, near the entire front. Unlike Xiaomi's Mi Mix 2. What? Samsung's Galaxy S8 and LG's V30, Apple hasn't kept the iPhone X top bezel intact. And compared to the Essential phone, its camera array is much, much more noticeable and odd-looking. What? Okay. I can't see. All I see is black. It's in there, I assume.
Yeah, it is.
Well, the iPhone X design was leaked several times before Apple was able to officially unveil it.
Oh my god. It's like the iPhone X renders web pages with literal white bars on the side. I mean, how stupid is that you have to work around a goddamn screen design by putting white bars in? What is this? What am I watching 4x3 movies on something?
Hey man, I like my 4x3. iPhone X the company revealed this week that it is fully embracing the notch and not hiding it away with software. It's a move that has generated a lot of discussion online, both during the leaks and after Apple's official announcement. Some say Steve Jobs would never have let that happen. While the other... Is that where you took that from? Mm-hmm. God damn it, Kenneth.
But I mean, they're not wrong. Steve Jobs
for Chrome
wouldn't have let that happen.
That's probably true. As a black cutout to every YouTube video, there's a mix of surprise, sarcasm, and intrigue that Apple's chosen to go with the screen layout that leads to design compromises. That's a good question. Maybe it's because they want to be different. They want to be like, instead of giving the full screen, we're Apple. We're going to take a part of your screen, and you're still going to pay us $300 extra fucking dollars for it. Booyah! That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. They're just like, we could fuck you in the ass, and you would still give us all your money.
Yeah, we could literally build you the iVibe, and you would love it. You would just buy it and accept it because it's got I in the name. And sadly, they're not very wrong. A lot of these people that buy stuff are super rich, like white people, and they're really dumb.
Yeah.
They're just like, I just buy Apple devices because it's easier. And then I'm like, I look at it as an IT guy and I just cringe every time.
Josh was having such a bad time setting up the iPads today.
Ha! And he wasn't he one of those people like, yeah, just let teachers have iPads. It's totally fine. And then
He's reconsidering his position.
Good, because we're like, you don't understand the effort that it takes. Like, you're not understanding what we deal with.
Yeah, no.
That's one of the things that pisses me off about that guy. Is like, we told him and we told him and we told him about everything, and he doesn't fucking listen. And like, you could show him and he still wouldn't listen. And then now he's doing it by himself. He's like, this is actually AIDS. And it's like, fucking told you like 20,000 times. You didn't want to listen.
Yeah. It's so
when
funny.
People do that,
but apparently Macs have gotten better. Like, so there's always everybody always has issues adding Macs to domains and such.
Yeah,
like,
it was one of the biggest issues I have. It wasn't necessarily an issue to add to the domain. It was an issue with how it functioned on the domain. Like, it worked fine for a while, but then for some reason, so part of how the domain works is, uses the centralized authentication, right? Mm-hmm. Well, Macs have the stupid keyring bullshit. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens is, and this is something that happened a few times while I was there, is it like the keyring will basically get corrupted to where it doesn't realize it has any keys anymore, and you can't use anything with it. You can't install anything. You can't touch any of your applications because it's always like, you need access to your keyring. Do you say that? And you're just like, boom, yes. And it's just like, you don't have access to that. What's your password? And you enter the password's wrong now because like it somehow got changed over to whatever your Active Record password is, or it reverts itself to like a 5 versions old password that you used like 5 versions ago. It's stupid. It has something partially to do with password complexity and
I don't know. I haven't worked with Macs in so long. I still figured they use Samba.
AIDS.
But Josh is like, I just added to the domain. I went there and I was like, I didn't think they actually did that.
Yeah, no, they can be added to the domain.
It's been a very long time since I've used Apple devices.
I'm telling you though, it's gonna. They said they did away with rotating password. So it might not happen. And
they're not going to bring it back either, because just like, Karen talked about, I guess in the latest meeting, could have talked about, have people change their passwords every few. He said every few weeks, and I correct him every few months, and he's like, no. And then I don't know.
Is that something you brought up?
Yeah, because I wanted to bring it up because. Because I'm bringing all these security points to him. It's like, okay, this is why we do this. This is why we do this. This is why we don't allow stupid people to do this.
Yeah.
And then there's like...
we did away with it under Trey. And, to be fair, it's because our people are honestly too dumb to be able to, remember their password. A lot of them are too old. But, and it is what it is. It sucks, though. Mm-hmm. But it's just how it is. I don't know what you're referring to, Mr. Keebles. And he's like, the fuck happened? And I have no idea.
I don't know. I mean, look at how it plays games. I mean, part of your games is cut off. What if they're not compatible with the screen? Then you're going to have cut off controls or something?
Probably, yeah.
Apple really didn't think this through.
Nope. But what sucks, what's even dumber, is that they're selling this piece of garbage. I mean, it's not garbage. It's probably a decent phone, I guess. But they're selling it for $1,000 base. Mm-hmm. And that's just ridiculous to me. Yeah, so if you have section missing, thanks to the new display, and some apps that go full screen into the status bar area will also have a black section. Thankfully, movies and photos won't fill the entire screen by default. They require a double tap to extend into the notch and status bar area. Apple is hiding the notch in some ways, though. If you take a screenshot on the iPhone X, for example, then iOS 11 simply ignores the existence of the cutout, as you'd expect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I mean, that iPhone in that mock-up doesn't look that bad. Yeah, sure, it takes out the stupid notch at the top, and it makes the bottom doesn't. It doesn't look bad. I mean, no, extend it all the way to the bottom, even. Mm-hmm. Just leave a tiny little notch. Wouldn't have killed them.
Just leave a flat space on the top.
Yeah. I don't know. You could have called it your infinity screen, but I think Dell has that copyrighted.
Samsung? Samsung has the infinity screen, not Dell.
Well, no, Dell has a laptop line. It's like they call Infinity Screen or something.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Samsung has the Infinity Screen. Notice how the time here is 1337. I'm just going to point that out. I'm just looking at that. I'm like, hey. Anyway. The entire notch exists because Apple's introducing Face ID with the iPhone X. A replace for Touch ID that uses infrared cameras to scan your face and log you into your phone.
Does it work in low light?
Apple's camera.
Does it work with black people?
It's significantly
legitimate question.
It's significantly larger than a single sensor on the essential phone. I feel like because it's infrared, it should. It's not just a regular camera.
I suppose so.
I don't know. Or if it's like infrared, it's black. There are no infrared signatures coming from it. You don't exist.
See, that's the thing. That's what I worry about because that's a legitimate thing that happens. Is that some people are too dark to actually work with something like this?
That's true. Man, you are really angry. Bad.
What's he saying?
I was saying, Galaxy S8 is nice. He's calling me a bitch nibba. And then not Kenneth, because he gets pussy. That was racist, Kenneth. Sadly, I'm okay. That's not racist. It's just how it works.
I mean, it's
like that video I shared about the black dude's hand where it's just like, didn't do anything, but he put, white towel over it and just worked. And it had probably
because it absorbs signals. That's the thing.
Well,
it absorbs light.
Well, not only that, it has to do with how the photo is sensitive, like the motion.
Well, yeah, because it's looking for something to bounce the light back to it as an acknowledgement.
Yep.
But unfortunately, with darker skin, it absorbs light, so then there's nothing to send back.
Which is the whole point of darker skin, anyway. To protect them from sunlight damage and stuff like that.
Exactly. So. It's a legitimate thing that designers have to take.
Are genetically structured to exist and work outside. It's funny, but it's true. They're made to work in super highlight. Whoa, is that what that looks like?
Oh, that's terrible.
That is pretty terrible.
I mean, they're not made. They were the genetics
they mutated
line
for working outside.
They lived in extremely open environments.
It's for desert environments. That's where they belong. Desert and super sun-bathed environments. It's not like it sounds racist when I explain it like that.
No, it definitely sounds.
It sounds wrong, but it's not wrong.
You're saying it incorrectly.
But it is.
It's more like they have genetic disposition.
You almost called it defects.
No, disposition. I think it's a disposition to have darker skin because of genetic heritage that, due to coming from Africa and due to the large amount of exposure of sunlight there,
nature of most of Africa,
that their skin simply darken over time to prevent cancer, melanoma, etc., and to be more resistant to sun-based things. That's why
I think it's because of it's mostly because of the super desert region. But then you gotta think about any other color of people besides white. Hispanics get super dark. Brown.
I mean, that's why in the far north, those people there are extremely pale
orange
because they don't get a lot of sunlight there, so they become a lot more paler, so that way their body can absorb more sunlight.
It's talking about what is it like Alaska areas?
No, I'm like Norway, Sweden, Northern Europe kind of thing.
Oh yeah, well any northern states anyway.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's just genetics change to suit the environment and the climate, especially sunlight. It's a major thing. It's how we get a lot of nutrients.
Too much sunlight is bad. See, their skin developed all of these pigments, before sun lotion was existent.
Yeah. Anyways.
Cool story, bro.
Now, can we get back to that Ted Cruz story, because it's really funny.
I don't want to shit talk Apple some more.
I mean, as you can see, that stupid freaking scroll bar.
I think I fixed the issue with the landscape. That's terrible. Just a terrible, atrocious design. I don't know why anybody would pay $1,000 for that, other than it's got a nifty name, iPhone X. But isn't it actually supposed to be the 10 instead of just the X? Like, it's just X for the numeral 10. I think it's whatever you were saying. Anyway, back to Ted Cruz. Even though I was on the Elon Musk Tesla thing. Go for it.
Is yours one?
I was covering the other one, basically.
Okay, fine. So, Ted Cruz, tomorrow could be you. Commentary. The Texas Senator.
Hold on. Is this about the porn thing? Yes! My boy!
The Texas Senator became the laughingstock of Twitter this week after his verified Twitter account liked a porn post.
Oh, man, dude, everybody does that shit.
I know, that's what they're saying. Like, we are all Ted Cruz. This week, the Texas senator and former Republican presidential candidate is dealing with the fallout from his Twitter misadventures. Cruz, or whoever controls his social media accounts, on Tuesday night liked a video posted by @sexualpost.
Post.
Yeah,
Sexual.
they can't post the kind of content you would expect from a handle like that. Naturally, hilarity ensued. Cruz was the butt of many jokes on Twitter, but there could be some real world repercussions. He's a conservative fellow, and in 2007 defended a Texas ban on dildos by arguing that there's no substantive due process right to stimulate one's genitals for non-medical purposes.
What? Excuse me, Ted Cruz.
He's got a
if I want to fiddle my goddamn diddle, I will fiddle my diddle any goddamn day.
He's got a stick so far up his ass, I don't know what he's complaining about.
That's true. That stick so far up his ass, hitting that male G-spot, just
You can understand how highly publicized the porn streak could be a turn off to his base. Are you sure it doesn't turn him on?
Yeah, all right.
It's truly inspiring to see Twitter put aside our petty differences, turn in union, and laugh at Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, turn on Jeremy 2020. Play that. I just want to see that. Ted Cruz trying to figure out how he can blame Hillary's emails.
Only thing about Ted Cruz that I can relate to.
But I don't say we're all Ted Cruz because of the hypocrisy, or even because of the porn. And this person's like, personally, I've never watched porn. Bullshit.
If you never watched
fucking
porn,
lying.
I don't know what to tell you. That's weird. But hey, yeah, no, Panda, if you want to come do shit in Texas, it's fucking, come on. You gotta bring Shadow, though.
Yeah, we'll have a good time down here.
Yeah. We all float down here, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're all Ted Cruz because at some point we'll pay the price for social media gaff. I've had at least 45 years before retirement, and there's no way I'm not getting in trouble for at least once some dumb thing I do. So this guy's about our age, this author.
Mm.
So for some dumb thing I do on Facebook, Twitter, or one of tomorrow's even more pervasive platforms.
Dude, I like porn things all the time. Fucking High Kick, my boy over there, sends me porn shit and I talk to them and I comment to them. You know, I've got that Hungarian waifu that cosplays. She still talks to me regularly. She's a really good person. I hope she gets big like Jessica Nagiri and fucking is super successful in her cosplay. She's a really nice girl, and I like that. I don't know. I just find it weird that people talk to me from across the internet. Well, I mean, like, for no reason.
All kinds of people.
For, like, no reason, though. Like, normally I do that shit. It's just odd.
Yeah, she probably wants you to get a visa.
No, she has a husband, boyfriend, engaged thing. I don't know. Something. She's cool, though. She's really nice. Yeah, exactly. If, you know, Shadow says yeah. I mean, she should say yeah. She should have nothing against it. You know, I almost thought this fucking ad right there was like he was looking into like a drill or something like that, like where his eyelashes. I thought it was like a drill bit. And I was like, that's very dangerous.
Dead Space?
What?
Dead Space?
Dead Space? Are you sure you're not talking about fucking Prey?
No, I'm talking about Dead Space.
Yeah.
There was a scene in Dead Space where the guy has to do eye surgery on himself while trying. So he has to look to try and operate the machine while trying to look with the other eye to make sure it gets into the center of his eye. And it's like a gigantic sharp needle. And if he fucks up, the entire fucking machine goes into his face and kills him.
Is this your main character?
Yeah, this is the main character.
So you have to do... Which Dead Space is that?
I don't know. Like, just Google it real quick.
Why do you have to do... Why do you have
just
to
Google
operate
Dead
on your
Space
own?
eye surgery or something. Yeah, eye needle. There we go. Or eye scene, eye surgery, whatever, it all works.
Whatever, eye surgery gif.
Just any of them probably works.
Yeah. Oh, so that's where that scene comes from.
Yes. You have to get the laser on point.
Oh my god. Oh, that one's like just extremely fast. Jesus fucking Christ. No.
See, that's
that just looks... That doesn't even look fun.
No.
Oh, like that. The needle's long enough to fucking like ice pick lobotomy your goddamn brain.
Yeah. Exactly. The entire long pan out.
It's because the fucking it's just like, so like you have to. It has to be green.
Yeah.
Do you have to? I guess does it have to be green when you push the button or what?
I think it just as it gets closer, you have to be more on point.
Yeah, but it's hard when your dude's like fucking getting out like that.
Yeah.
That's
so as you can see, so that's what I thought of whenever you.
God damn. That's pretty bad, yeah. So it's kind of like Prey though, fucking.
Just.
Fuck. Fuck that, dude. He's just like.
There may be some redness in your eye.
He pushes the button and spikes shoot out, and it's like, oh no, you're gonna put that on your. Oh no. This is how this ends.
Yeah.
You know, just take. If for some reason the little device is just off by a hair, it's just like, and vegetable. Duh.
I wouldn't hope the needles couldn't go that far. I don't know, man. Those needles.
Well, those go into your brain.
I don't know if they go into your brain. I think they just use your,
well, that needle definitely goes through your eyeball and into your fucking brain if it felt like it.
Pretty much.
Jesus Christ. It's like
who designed the safety standards on that goddamn needle? Huh, what if they get it wrong? Shove it all the way in! It's like, how did that get past freaking R&D?
Like,
we've designed this needle here to do, I don't know, I think it did like memory extractions or something. So, what happens if there's nobody there? It goes all the way through the table. That's what they did.
That's insane, but like that needle's as big as that dude's head, so it's just like
pretty much.
Fuck.
Anyways, but that's pretty much the extent of the story. So basically, Ted Cruz is trying to pass it off that he's been hacked. Oh no, Ted Cruz has been hacked, even though it was a single. Like that's the thing. It's obviously not a hack, Ted, because there was only one single porn post that was removed like 30 minutes later, and like nobody like fucked with your account. Like if you wanted to blow that off, you should have had whoever liked it, or if you like it, you should have posted some random crazy shit like Bernie 2020 or down with the Republic or something. I don't know. That would have made sense, and it would have fit with your narrative.
Yeah.
But no, you just deleted that post and then claimed your account was hacked. Like somebody was hacking just to fuck with you wouldn't do that.
Or it's like everyone says it was hacked, like when people go on and post all their shit and somebody leaves their computer on. Or leaves their phone open or whatever, however.
So that's the extent of the Ted Cruz story.
That's pretty funny. I didn't realize it was that. I thought it was in porn. Oh, yes. Google sued by a woman for pay discrimination and potential class action lawsuit. So we already knew about this. We already semi-covered this, didn't we? That, like,
well, we talked about it. The people were talking about it, but this is actually doing it now.
Interesting. 3 women have filed a lawsuit against Google, accusing the company of discriminating against female employees by underpaying them and denying them opportunities for promotions. That's really hard to prove, but yeah. Mm-hmm. The plaintiffs seek to turn their complaint into a class action lawsuit covering all women who worked at Google within the last 4 years.
Why only the last 4 years, you goddamn ageist?
There you go.
Get more progressive. Include men in there.
Google has discriminated.
Include disabled trans people.
Yeah. Google has discriminated and continues to discriminate against its female employees by systematically paying them lower compensation than Google pays to male employees, performing substantially similar work under similar working conditions.
I love how this is similar work in similar work conditions. I work at Google. That's similar work conditions. What do you do? Well, I'm a computer technician. Okay, what does that guy do? He's a systems administrator. We do similar work. I mean, with language that vague, everything is similar work.
Yep. But Google's Google. They have enough money. They'll just be like, let me just Google search your entire life real quick. Well, we're going to pull out the machine. No, we said we'd never use it against the public. This isn't the public anymore. And so they type in the person's name, it just pulls up everything they've ever said ever. Like, I'm going to sue Google. It's just like...
That's the thing. They probably have that. They probably have something you just put in a name and it just brings everything Google has on you. Every single search you have, every single thing you've looked at, anything you've ever browsed in the history of anything, for as long as they have your data.
Forever.
Forever.
So as long as you've been a child on the internet.
Yes. It probably exists on Google.
I would assume it does. There's something like that. I mean, it's their algorithm, so I would assume they have a way to do everything if they want to.
Yeah, probably. But also consider that Google has a team of lawyers like nobody else. Right. They are some of the highest paid lawyers in Silicon Valley, and they do, well, fantastic work. Because Google has gone up against world governments and kicked their asses legally. Yeah. Like, your little lawsuit isn't going to do much. I mean, I don't want people discriminated against based upon their gender. That's illegal. But I really think that these women are just doing it because they want to jump on that opportunistic hype train to try and get a little money out.
Yep. I mean, they might, if anything, they'll probably just get a settlement anyway.
Yeah, most likely.
A lot of people just pay out settlements. That's because it makes life easier. Ow, I hurt myself at some point. Anyway, the suit was filed on behalf of 3 women, Kelly Ellis, Holly Pease, and Kelly Wasuri, Asian. Anyway, who say they were placed into lower career tracks than their male coworkers and received lower salaries and bonuses because of it. They assert that Google's actions violate California law, including the California Equal Pay Act, and are asking for lost wage and damages, and for Google to be forced to correct its allegedly discriminatory hiring practices.
You know how Google's hiring practices are allegedly discriminatory? Because they specifically specialize hiring events for women, for, Hispanics and blacks, for Asians, for the disenfranchised. If you wanted equality in a hiring practice, you'd eliminate age, you'd eliminate, names identified for features. You would just have, this is the qualifications, this is what they've done, etc., and just give it to a hiring manager and be like, okay, well, we're going to interview these candidates because these candidates are the most qualified. You want to get rid of discriminatory hiring practices? Meritocracy, bitch. It's the only way it's going to happen.
This lawsuit is far from the first claim of gender-based pay discrimination at Google. The U.S. Department of Labor is currently investigating the company's hiring practices, and earlier this year testified in court that it found systematic compensation disparities against women pretty much across the entire workforce earlier this month. The New York Times published salary data compiled nearly 1,200 Google employees showing disparities in both salaries and bonuses across pay grades. Much of the lawsuit revolves around Google's tiered pay system. Employees on higher tiers typically receive higher salaries and bonuses. Technical employees also receive more pay than non-technical employees.
Well, that makes sense. Their business is technology. Their business is programming.
That should be how it is, and that's okay.
I mean, some lady in customer service or HR who doesn't truly contribute to the longevity of the company based on its programming algorithms and such. Yeah, they're not going to get a higher bonus. Get into technology. That's what it is. It's a technology company.
Yep. The 3 women say they were put on lower tiers than their male colleagues and limited in their opportunities to move up the ladder. It depends on what they were doing and where they were going into work, because sometimes that happens anyway, just by what job you're taking and what job you're going for. Ella says she was hired with 4 years of experience and placed at level 3, where new college graduates are often placed weeks later. The suit claims a male colleague with the same amount of experience was hired until level 4. Ellis also claims she was put on a less prestigious front-end development team, despite having experience in back-end development. The back-end team, the suit says, is higher paid and almost exclusively men.
Almost exclusively. That means that it's not exclusively men. That means there are women there.
Yeah.
So look at you and look at them. Look at you.
She might have had 4 years of experience. Maybe she didn't have the exact experience, or maybe she just didn't do well and needed to do versus they got. And like in some of these places, me and him were looking at jobs. The difference between level 3 and level 6 is nothing. Realistically, they just do slightly different things.
Yeah.
Like for instance, the Department of Health and Human Services and stuff. It's not that big of a difference between the tiers until you get to like 6 on up, and then it becomes vastly different. But still.
Exactly, very specialized. But I mean, that's the thing. You're placed at level 3. Well, that's the thing. Like, Google has statistics out the ass. Google knows how to do algorithms and shit. That's how all that works. They all throw it into some big algorithm, and it's like, okay, this person's going to be replaced here because of this, and this scoring system here, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Magic.
Yep.
You know, Google, especially considering Google's a Silicon Valley company and in California, and is super progressive and has some of the best benefits for any business in the goddamn country, you know, they don't do anything just because. They do everything because an algorithm tells them to, or this system and data correlation tells them this is what they should do.
Our Google AI tells me that you are in fact a bitch.
Problem is, like, our Google AI has looked through your search history and posts. We don't want you at level 4. Level 3 is where you can start.
Missouri has a similar story. The suit says she was hired into a level 2 sales role, while men with similar qualifications entered at level 3. Men were more often hired into roles that received commission too, the suit claims. I don't know, it just depends on if they can prove it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Pease entered Google with 10 years of experience as a network engineer and oversaw a team of technical staff. But she wasn't considered to be a technical employee herself, thus limiting her pay. According to the lawsuit, the suit claims she was denied the opportunity to transition to the technical classification after returning from medical leave, was moved out of engineering entirely. Now, see, that's just kind of fucked up. So, yeah. Ellis, Missouri, and Pease all left Google over the past 3 years. Seb Sigliano at Google says Google's hiring process is designed to eliminate gender biases. Job levels and promotions are determined through rigorous hiring and promotion committees and must pass multiple levels of review, including checks to make sure there is no gender bias in these decisions. She writes.
And that's actually correct, because that's the thing. Like, they'll, like, whenever you have to get a job promotion, if you see there's a job opening, they'll do, internal hiring, and you can apply to it. And even if your manager says you don't think you should get it, if your coworkers and the people above him and around him, because they do like multi-tier like checks, and they go out and review people on your level, above your level, and then above that level, so that way they can get a broad understanding of how people see you, the work you've done, etc. And then based upon that recommendation, you could get that promotion. Even if your manager says he doesn't think you should get it, you could get it anyways. It's happened at Google. So what do your coworkers think about you?
Yeah, that's another thing. Is like, you know, maybe that's actually a part of the problem too. Is maybe you're just a fucking cunt, that kind of thing.
Maybe you're not doing as good a job as good. Maybe you're not working hard enough. Maybe you're not putting in the time and effort. Maybe you want too much of a work-life balance. I'm not hating on you. I want a good work-life balance too. I don't want to be there working 60 hours a day, etc., etc. I feel you, sister.
I definitely wouldn't work 60 hours a week either.
But you also got to consider the people who work those 60 hours a week. Those people who get promotions. Those people who put in the time, the effort, they sacrifice their lives.
I don't know. I want to say a lot of those people that put in that time don't actually get promoted a lot of the time. Huh. They get used and abused and thrown out of any system.
Maybe. But sometimes it gets through.
No, I see the world for what it is. Pure evil. The people that kiss ass, as we've seen, get their promotions.
Yeah.
Everything that we've experienced translates to everywhere else. I just want you to know that. Completely underqualified, non-qualified, somehow gets... I just don't understand. And I was thinking about that after I told that guy that he's like super underqualified to be leading the IT department. It's just like, he is. He's like incredibly underqualified. Like, I thought, he had some IT knowledge. No. He knows to turn a computer on and check cables. I mean, it's better than they probably would have given us someone else that's worse.
He knows how to reset a voicemail password now.
Huh?
Said he knows how to reset a voicemail password now.
That's good. That's easy. All you do is go into the...
Honest doesn't.
The CUCM, you just click the user and then you click... There's a little drop-down box where it's like, reset password. It's that simple.
Okay, good.
Or you can manually set it. Yeah.
Because Lord knows, it's like, there's that ticket out there for that, and I don't actually know how to do that.
Yeah.
But, okay. Anyway,
I mean, all you gotta do is ask me, really. I still remember how it works.
Now, that's good experience. That's good knowledge right there.
What?
The phone system knowledge.
No, I hate the phone system.
I know you do, but now that you know, you're going to be getting all kinds of jobs with it too.
I don't think so. I hope.
It's like, I know Cisco phone system. I hate it, but I know it.
I was talking to the guy for this job during my interview, and I was like, yeah, I hate the Cisco phone system. He's like, hey. He's like, man, I get you. He's like, but never work with ShoreTel. And I was like, my friend told me ShoreTel wasn't too bad. He's like, I don't know about that, man. He's like, I've had some of these ShoreTel phones, and they're fucking awful. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I don't know. You said ShoreTel phones.
No, I used Mitel phones.
Maybe ShoreTel was equally AIDS.
I don't know. But
those phones look.
I used Mitel. The system was pretty basic, and we had a basic system. But
I used Avaya. Everything was super cut and dry. It's like, you want to rename your phone? There's a little option. It says name. Change it.
Yeah,
done.
same here.
It's just easy.
You want to reset a voicemail? Go to voicemails. There you go. Reset. Oh, you want to add a phone? Just give us the MAC address, and we got it from here.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I had to do weird shit, like, to make sure the phones were setting up correctly. Like, you have to add TFTP to the correct address. That's how the VoIP phones work.
No, we just had, there's an application we used.
Oh, no. The phones, like, I had to make sure I put in the right IP address for the server and stuff, and then, like, it would pull its own information down. But then after it started up, then I'd have to change all the options. But, like, there were some weird ways to reset those phones because they were their phones themselves were their entire own separate entity. So, like, you could push special star codes to reset it and stuff like that.
Neat. Yeah, we could do that with the MyTel phones. We could do, remote management from your phone to other people's phones.
But the cool thing is you can unplug the phone and move it anywhere else, and it would just work completely fine. It would still have the same, everything.
Yeah, same here. That's the thing. Like, we've worked on much better phone systems than this.
Yeah, even though Cisco's the best of the best. Supposedly. Yeah. The phones look nice, though. Like, the colored phones are really nice looking. Yeah. The ones with cameras and stuff, but they're just, I don't know. I would hate to look at that tiny screen and just stare at my C-level director staring back at me like, Johnson, get your ass in here. I see you fucking around over there. Yes, sir. Is your camera off? Yes. Turn it on. Turns it on. He's just like, get your ass in my office right now. I'm just like, fuck. Yeah. Just
like, that's not even my name. Okay.
Dramatic effect. It is now. Get your ass in here. Who are you? I'm David. Just kind of like the.
Well, go get me Johnson, damn it.
It's kind of like the Super Nintendo. Yeah. Everybody needs to work with their attitude. What are your guys' names again? Yeah, that was one of the things. He always asked us our names every time he saw us. So, like, that was my biggest deal for supposedly having a problem with us. He didn't even know who either of us were still, all the way up until that point. He just knew that we're both the dudes, so that we were the problem. Mm-hmm. That's all he knew. Yeah. Shady shit at that place. Mm-hmm. I'm glad it's gotten better for you, or whatever. I don't know.
Well, it hasn't gotten worse, but I'm no longer out in the field, so that's better.
That's good.
And we're going to get 2 new staff, hopefully.
Mm.
Anyway, so that was the Google lawsuit.
There you go. This is Kenneth's favorite person.
As if he's not your favorite person as well.
I mean, not until I get my giant robot built in.
Elon Musk. Tesla will reveal a semi-truck beast next month. Video is unrelated. Get ready to meet Tesla's beast of a semi-truck. The electric vehicle maker is aiming to unveil the Tesla Semi into a test ride October 26th, according to CEO Elon Musk. Worth seeing this beast in person, he tweeted. Wednesday. It's unreal. The launch date's a bit later than Musk had suggested earlier this year. In April, he said Tesla, which is known for missing self-imposed time frames, would reveal the battery-powered truck in September. And drivers eager to get behind the wheel of the semi-truck, which is designed to transport cargo, are still likely to have a lengthy wait. Musk said that the Tesla is aiming to enter production of the vehicle in less than 5 years.
So this is like a semi, like a proper semi. I didn't realize it was I thought it was like a semi-truck, like half.
No. He means an actual. Semi. Yeah, he means like a cargo.
Oh man, we're getting into the iRobot times, or like what is it? The newer, fucking Logan one. The newer. Yeah, Logan movie. Where the trucks are all automated and just driving on the road and running people off the road and shit.
Interesting enough, I've seen Samsung had like the Samsung Smart Truck, where it had cameras on the front, and then they had a screen on the doors. So that way, like if you're behind them, you could see what's in front of you with the cameras. That's neat.
Oh, that's actually. Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, it wouldn't work in all places, but I mean...
So you could, see, like, so you could pass around them and stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen that before.
I was like, well, good on you, Samsung, and your trucks.
Yeah. Guns in America versus the rest of the world. I don't want to see that. The best.
So, he first teased the prospect of the semi-truck as well as the smaller minibus in his master plan released July 16th.
This guy's just going to turn out to be a fucking, like, evil dictator. Like, he's going to be an evil genius type thing.
Well... I don't know evil genius, because he started some of the most influential and powerful companies in the world. I mean, PayPal, didn't he have a hand in eBay too? I mean,
I don't know.
Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City.
PayPal had a hand in eBay. Like PayPal and eBay went hand in hand, but I don't think they were actually together now.
No, well, they've split now. Again.
They've been split for a while, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, this guy, everything he touched turns into $1 billion company. Like, if he's a part of it, on it or near it.
His starting was PayPal. Him and the other.
Yeah, his starting was PayPal, and then he went to Tesla. And then he started SpaceX and Solar City. So, and Solar City's going great. They're everywhere now.
Isn't he also, like, influential in the Hyperloop program, too?
Oh, yeah. Well, he was the one who proposed the Hyperloop. Him and I guess his engineering team, they proposed the Hyperloop. They were the ones who came out with the idea initially. Nobody else, as far as I'm aware, had the idea before. But he was the one who popularized it, if they had. So, I mean, and he's a big backer of it. He's, putting money into it, etc. And the Boring Company, which I expect that to be pretty big, too, in major cities.
The one that's for boring in the ground.
Yep. And then transporting cars across the city at very high speeds.
What?
Well, that's what it is. Is that there's tunnels that this boring machine builds, and then there's like high-speed rail kind of tracks. So you park into a spot, it like lowers your car down, and then you drive into like a platform, and then it secures your car there, and then it jets your car across the city at 100 miles an hour kind of thing. So it's a good way to ease congestion, or supposedly that's what the plan is. That way people can avoid, highways and such, is that you just get on the thing, you get across the city, bam. I think that would be pretty interesting. Idea. I mean, if you get enough of them together, I mean, you could, I don't know, probably ease a lot of congestion.
I don't know, if that plan, why don't you just, build subways instead? That's one of the things we need to get away from, is everybody using their car. And that'll help cut down in, carbon emissions and everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at New York, I mean, a lot of people drive cars there. It's mainly really taxis. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, they have a very, solid subway system.
Yeah, most people in New York walk places or do whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Only my friend that lives in New York, him and his wife drive around because he works for a, exterminator company. So, he has to
have a vehicle, but...
And then, she drives around because she goes really far, and she works at a place, she works at apparently a really fancy salon, one that all of the actors and stuff go to. It's a day spa salon. It's super ritzy, super expensive. She said she's cut hair for some really famous actors and stuff. I was like, that's neato burrito.
Do my hair.
I was like, do my hair. There's actually one in Houston. I was like, what? It's pretty interesting. I'll have to ask which one.
And they'll be like, we don't know what to do with all this hair.
No. Nah. It'll be like, let me see what. A little off the top. Burp, burp, burp. If I go with me and my family, we should be like, shave it all. And I'm like, no. Just let my hair grow out again. I don't even care. What a Borg. That is a Borg.
Yeah. Alright, so cool. Tesla's unveiling a semi-truck. Should be interesting.
Alright.
So next we have world news.
Yeah.
Exciting time to be alive, folks. We've got North Korea! Apparently I have to refresh my damn page.
Why?
Because they changed things.
Yeah.
Not between you and... Yeah, they changed the title.
Fun. Alright.
Also, as a quick note, because we're not covering this story, but it is the first time in 300 years that there's not been a living soul on Barbuda.
There's not been a what?
A living soul on Barbuda.
Really?
Because there's nobody either left alive or there's nobody alive on that island anymore.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's wasn't Sir Richard Branson chilling there?
No, he was on Necker Island. That's his private island.
Oh.
But everything on his private island is pretty much destroyed.
Yes. Interesting. We'll sink Japan and turn USA to ashes and darkness, says North Korea.
Oh, they really increased the length of the story. Oh, no, that's what it seemed like.
Tokyo condemns absolutely unacceptable provocation as Pyongyang reacts to imposition of new UN sanctions following missile test. Wow, that sounds really bad, and I'm sure Trump's going to just be like, and more ships.
I mean, this is getting into Cold War territory for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about that, because...
Personally, I don't care. Because they've already lost backing of almost everybody.
Yeah, but China and Russia are still supporting them. China and Russia has to stop supporting this regime.
No, China already said they're not supporting them, remember?
Well, they're still supporting them with oil. And
Yeah.
Russia is still supporting them, like, wholeheartedly.
But Russia flew their bombers over their country.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think these people are supporting them. I think they're like, listen, we
well,
got your back, but like, we don't have your back if you go to war with them.
Well, yeah, because neither of those countries want to be dragged into a war. None of those countries will do anything. Well, China's already going to defend their border. That's the thing. Like, China's massing tens of thousands of troops at the border, not to stop North Korea, not to stop like the war from heading north, but to stop refugees from heading north. They have like They probably have like shoot-on-sight orders of Korean refugees.
That's pretty bad. That sounds terrible.
No, it is terrible. You know. Actually, I think we're going to cover something like that. Yeah, we're going to cover that's fourth story. A bit of genocide going on right now.
Yeah, nice. North Korea has threatened to sink Japan and said the U.S. should be beaten to death like a rabid dog after the two countries spearheaded fresh UN Security Council sanctions in response to the regime's recent nuclear test. The Korea Asian Pacific Peace Committee, which oversees North Korea's relations with the outside world, described the UN Security Council, which passed a new round of sanctions on Monday, as a tool of evil in the pay of Washington, and called for it to be broken up. It is the first time that Pyongyang has issued an explicit threat to Japan since it fired a medium-range ballistic missile over the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido at the end of last month.
Japan, I have plans to go there.
Triggering emergency sirens and mass text alerts. I know, right? I want to go there. Can I go there? Can I get... No! What am I going to do without my anime? I'm going to go through withdrawals, and then I will finally turn into a Japanese man. My metamorphosis will be complete, and I will become the Japanese, and we will have anime in America. It's actually funny. So this book right here actually talks about stuff like this. So in this book, the entire of the world was taken over by basically the United States, which I could see. And then, like, so in this book, there was a bunch of Japanese people that went to a planet, and they're basically trying to make it, Neo Shippon, which is New Japan in Japanese, and they're trying to, like, say they want to speak Japanese only on that planet. So basically, they're trying to make Planet Japan. And so, like...
I think America's going to nuke them.
No, yeah, something like that. The United, it's called, the Clone Republic is what this book is called, but it's called the United Republic of Authority or whatever. And so, like, they're just like, no, that's like, you know, on the end of terrorist actions. They're like, that's going against the English is everywhere. It's going against the regime type thing. Like, apparently in this thing, they stuck with the American system of existence with the three positions of power. You know, with like executive, judicial, and
the branches of
the
power.
House and whatever. Yeah, and so like the House of Representatives is elected by the representatives of the planets. The Senate, however, is weird because it's elected by the people that live in old Washington D.C., which is where they kept the capital of this new government. The new government. And it's literally as America took over everybody in the world, and then like became now we're gonna go to the stars. And So yeah, the people who live in Washington are like super elites that are only born in Washington that never see anything else that are super rich and whatever. So apparently, the Senate, the Galactic...
Wow, Washington's actually developed city in this book?
Well, I don't know.
There's a bunch of ghettos in Washington. Washington's actually a dangerous city.
Probably not. Yeah, no, Washington D.C. is pretty dangerous. You know, for a city that has a gun ban.
And is the heart of our American government.
Yeah. So anyway, the Senate is made up by people of like that are elected. They're elected by super Senate members. So, like, within the Senate, they elect members, like 5 members of the Senate to become, like, the super council or whatever. And those people elect Senate members. And so it's just this perpetual chain of elitism and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that sounds pretty realistic, like, future America.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it literally sounds like everything would happen. But yeah, no. And it's just funny because they're just like, no, you can't be New Japan. And then, like, some terrorists were there. This dude ended up using his spaceship and nuked an entire section of a city in like, Heroes Fall, which is Japanese for one of their people. And I'm like, wow. It's just like, yep, shit got real. It's just funny. Anyway. The 4 islands of the Japanese archipelago should be sunken into the sea by the nuclear bomb of Yush, I guess. Yush. It's probably going to be Yush. I don't know what that fucking means. I'm actually going to Google this real quick because I'm curious. By the Juche idea authorized by Kim Il-sung. The Juche idea means, in a nutshell, the master revolution construction on the mass of the people, and that they are the motive force of revolution and construction. Huh.
Yep.
So that's what it is.
Yep.
So they're terrorists. Anyway,
yeah.
The committee said in a statement carried by the official KCNA news agency, Juche is the idea...
Just call it Juche.
I could have said it. Juche is the ideology of self-reliance pioneered by Kim Il-sung, the country's founder and grandfather of the current leader Kim Jong-un. Was it Kim Il-sung?
Yeah. Kim Il-sung was the first one, then it was Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il, and then Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. Interesting. Japan is no longer needed to exist near us, the committee added. Wow.
They're tired of the anime.
Wow. It's converting the Koreans, man, I'm telling you. Just Japan slowly taking over the world with culture. That's how they do it. It's kind of like in Civilization. You can win by culture, technology, or military. America's military, Japan's culture, and Japan's technically technology and culture.
I've always won by military.
Yeah, that's the American way. I always play America. And you do what I call the American way. It's true, though.
Anyway, culture win.
The 15-member Security Council voted unanimously. Sometimes it accidentally happened to me, though, because I'm trying to get military victories, and it's like, you've spent so long building up armies to flatten entire countries that you accidentally got a technological victory or a cultural victory. And I was like, damn it. Yeah. Continue playing. I want to still flatten these guys. The 15-member Security Council voted unanimously in support of the U.S. drafted resolution condemning the missile test and imposing measures that include a ban on North Korean textile imports and restriction on oil exports to the country. In response, the committee said the U.S.
It's surprising. All members voted unanimously. That includes Russia and China.
I told you. Nobody is backing these guys anymore, realistically.
Well, they won't cut off their damn oil supplies.
Well, they're supposed to. It's not cutting off. It's restriction.
Actually, no, they will, because it says right there. Textile imports and restrictions on oil exports.
Yeah, told you.
So
to the country. So yes, they are. I told you.
Fine.
They pulled out. We covered stories about them pulling out. We covered stories about how
we also covered stories about Russia refusing to cut off the oil supply. But I guess now they've agreed to it.
Maybe a longer time ago, but more recently. Especially after that whole bomber thing, I think Russia's done too. Mm-hmm. Anyway, beating us like a rabid dog for heinous sanctions resolution. Let's reduce the U.S. mainland to ashes and darkness. Let's vent our spite with mobilization of all retaliation means that have...
Yes, all retaliation. They're 2 long-range ICBMs.
Korean missile! Japan's top government spokesperson, Yoshihide Suga...
I don't know. I don't want to see what happens.
Described the statement as extremely provocative.
War breaks out in the Korean Peninsula. It's going to be bad.
It'll be fine.
Hundreds of thousands will die on all sides. Japan will probably be horribly damaged.
No. I'm telling you, man, the Gundams will fly out of Japan, or the fucking shield will come up. Japan's got some shady shit going on. I believe it. I believe in my home country, man. They've had enough sci-fi anime and enough people. They have something. Tell you, man, that energy shield's gonna pop up, and the world's gonna be like, what the fuck?
They also have people dying at very young ages from stress.
From what?
Stress. They work themselves to death. I don't know. That's their culture is destructive to themselves.
Kind of, yeah. But see, that's where all the anime and stuff comes into play. Because the people, well, they do work pretty hard, but like a lot of the authors and stuff are just like authors everywhere else. They just kind of do when they do. Mm-hmm. You know, they work on things. You know, they publish things at certain times, but like, yeah.
I mean, they're one of the most. I think they're one of the most like racially homogenous nations in the world.
Yeah, they're super xenophobic.
Yes.
It's usually what people say.
They're like 98% Japanese. And they hate anybody who's not full Japanese. Like, you can be half Japanese, they won't acknowledge you. That's happened. They've been like half Japanese, like half like Philippines, or, yeah. And They were like, no, you're not Japanese. You're Filipino. Go back to the Philippines. We don't want you here. They kick people out. They're like, we're half Japanese. Nah, we don't care. You're not. You're not real Japanese. They've done that. They're terrible.
Yeah, some of them. I feel like the younger age, though, isn't as bad. Like, the younger age seems more progressive and more... It's kind of like the younger age people here. It's the same thing here as the old people here are still, like a lot of them are still extremely racist. But a lot of the younger kids don't care.
Yeah. One can help, but...
I mean, that's what it is everywhere.
In the culture of Japan, they have a very strong, honor in the elderly and such.
Yeah.
And their work ethic of working, 70-hour work weeks every single week until they're freaking dead.
Yeah. They also don't really eat right and shit anyway, on top of everything.
I mean, then, the fact that they have an extremely plummeting birth rate.
Yep.
That's the thing.
They're working too much to have babies. So that's one thing, man. I gotta have my sex. So, no, you're not going to work today. I'm gonna fuck you until you can't move anymore.
I remember years ago reading about some story or something about how the birth rates would just collapse, leading to wide devastation.
And we talked about it a couple times in some stories here. Anyway, it is something that markedly heightens. I can't sex that. Anyway, that markedly heightens regional tension and is absolutely unacceptable. A new report has claimed that the detonation of 3 September of what North Korea claimed was a hydrogen bomb involved a device with an estimated yield of 250 kilotons, which is big, making it far more powerful than initially thought. The US-based 38 North website noted that the Confirmation Test Ban Treaty Organization had revised upwards the seismic power created by the test from magnitude 5.8 to 6.1, which is pretty high magnitude. It added this revision is significant because rather than providing an equivalent yield of about 120 kilotons derived from the lower magnitude estimates, the application of standard formula with appropriate constraints shows that the yield can now be estimated to be roughly 250 kilotons, 1/4 megaton. Regardless of whether this most recent test was an operational warhead for an ICBM, or simply a device, the yield of the test clearly shows Korean progress in increasing yields of their nuclear weapons. After weeks of heightened tensions and threats emanating from Pyongyang and Washington, there are signs that U.S. and other officials may be attempting to engage the regime diplomatically. Japan's public broadcaster NHK claimed on Thursday that U.S. and North Korean officials had met secretly on the sidelines of a security forum in Switzerland earlier this month. The report did not offer details, but said that Cho Kang-il, Deputy Director General for North American Affairs at the North Korean Foreign Ministry, and Evans Revere, a former senior official at the State Department, had raised North Korea's ballistic missile and nuclear test, while Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, or Abe probably,
yeah, it is Abe,
has refused to consider negotiations unless Pyongyang abandons its nuclear weapons program. An MP has claimed that support is rising inside the governing Liberal Democratic Party for possible engagement with the regime. Antonio Inoki, a former professional wrestler, what? Hold on. What? Said he had spoken to several unnamed LDP MPs who supported sending a delegation of Japanese parliamentarians to Pyongyang in an attempt to defuse tensions. This weird fucking pro wrestler. We're seeing a situation where Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un is raising his fist, and the situation is escalating, said Inoki, who met North Korea's top diplomat, Ri Soo-young. The other officials during the trip to Pyongyang last week, it's important to see who can be the first to lower his fist and reduce tensions. Neither of them. They're both children. So, yeah. We voted a giant orange child into office. The 7-year-old who has visited North Korea 32 times said LDP lawmakers have become more receptive to the idea of dialogue. The political wind has changed direction, he said, adding that North Korean officials were receptive to the idea. I made a proposal and was told they would be happy to receive such a delegation. Another gesture apparently aimed at lowering the diplomatic temperature. South Korea's government is considering an $8 million, 6 million euros aid package for North Korea. What? Seoul suspended aid to North Korea provided via UN agencies after the regime conducted nuclear missile tests in 2016, But under a proposal that would be approved next week, the South would provide $4.5 million to a World Food Program project to help infants and pregnant women, and a $3.5 million to UNICEF, according to Yonhap News Agency. The government's basic stance is that humanitarian assistance to those who are vulnerable in North Korea should be continued regardless of political considerations. That's kind of nice. Yonhap quoted a unification ministry official in Seoul saying, Seoul plans to decide the details of the aid and its timing after taking into account inter-Korean situation. Unify the Koreas. You must become the one and the only and the best.
Super Korea.
This is the Ultra Korea. The most Korean. Anyway.
So, a Marriott rescue ship left stranded tourists behind because they weren't guests of the hotel. What assholes. Hundreds of people waiting on the dock in St. Thomas on Friday night had just survived a hit from Hurricane Irma that had crippled the airport and devastated pretty much every building not made of concrete. Supplies of food and water were dwindling. Electricity was spotty. And Hurricane Hussein had not turned north yet. The people on the island feared the second storm could boom in, bringing more misery to St. Thomas. But a large ship with just enough room to transport all the tourists was approaching the dock, just in time. Help had come. Just not for everyone. The ship had been chartered by the Marriott hotel chain for guests who had stayed behind because the airport had closed. And officials, there were disagreement about exactly who, said that only people who would be allowed on the rescue ship were the registered guests of the chain's hotels and lavish resorts in St. Thomas. Shortly after the ship arrived, about 36 people, tourists not staying at a Marriott hotel, but also ridden out the hurricane, watched as the vessel pulled away with hundreds of empty seats. Fucking hell, Marriott.
That's not necessarily Marriott's problem or Marriott's fault.
Well, I mean, Marriott sent the damn ship.
Yeah, they sent the ship for their people, but it's not like they knew or whatever. That was their that was the ship's priority. What those people could have done is still make decisions on their own. Yeah, and they should have.
They should have. They should have been like,
the captain of the ship
clearly
gets to make
hundreds of
those
freaking
decisions.
There's clearly hundreds of freaking seats, and it's like 2 to 3 dozen people out there. Let them on board.
Yeah, pretty much. So I wouldn't blame Marriott. I mean, Marriott, they contract the ship for the people because that's their obligation. That's what they have to do.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. The place to live on Marriott, yeah. The problem, I would say the problem lies on the ship company.
Mm-hmm.
Or on the captain or whoever made the decision not to save people because however.
It says, we just felt hopelessness, said Cody Howard, a professional storm chaser who had been contracted to shoot weather footage on the island. His exit strategy evaporated when the island's airport closed. We're grown men. We can take care of ourselves, he said, of himself and his chase partner. Howard had endured similar conditions, filming footage of Hurricane Harvey.
That's always what happens, though, whenever you are a storm chaser. My friends were storm chasers, actually, for a little bit. They used to actually chase tornadoes. It's kind of cool, but super dangerous. And, you never know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Probably need a better exit strategy. Bring an inflatable boat. Even though that would suck ass, but it's better than
we didn't need a whole lot, but it was really hard to see people with kids and elderly people who didn't have anywhere to stay get turned away by this boat. For some people, that was the only glimmer of hope. After that boat left, they just felt helpless and hopeless. Officials on the ship said they had contacted people higher up in the company about the evacuation. Howard and other stranded passengers said the company officials said they didn't want the liability, according to Howard.
That's what a lot of people are going by and saying about a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people don't want to help people because of liabilities.
Yeah, because if somebody gets injured on that ship and there's going to be Marriott paying for it.
Yeah.
And
actually a ship company.
Naomi Ayala, a Dallas resident who had been vacationing on the island, but was now watching her chance at rescue edge towards the horizon, pulled out her phone and posted a video on Facebook. They had 600 and something seats, she said, citing a number that she later revised upwards. They'd filled it with 300 Marriott guests, and there were 35 people over here waiting. We can't get on this large boat that will hold at least 200 to 300 more people. And then she named names. It was Marriott's decision. Marriott didn't let us on this boat to get to San Juan, so we could get on flights back home. Instead, we had to ride out Hurricane Jose. We have to ride out Hurricane Jose on St. Thomas when we just went through Hurricane Irma. Tim Sheldon, president of the Caribbean and Latin American region for
Bethesda. I knew you were gonna enjoy that part.
MD-based Marriott International, told the Washington Post that the St. Thomas port manager instructed the crew not to let anyone not listed on the manifest could not get on the ship. The company had already worked with authorities to get the boat into port on short notice in an emergency, and to construct a manifest with all the appropriate passenger information. But Sheldon said the company didn't control access to the port, and with Jose approaching, there was no time to negotiate passage for the people who were ultimately left stranded. We were told by the port manager that if they weren't on the manifest, that they were not able to bring them onto the boat. We were told that we had to have our boat out of that port by nightfall. We knew that it was in our best interest, and in the best interest of our guests, to get that ship out of there that night.
And so that's a different, if that is true, which I believe for port managers.
It wouldn't surprise me that that's probably accurate.
And that happens. And then you have to have people come in illegally and do stuff like they were doing down here. Running boats or running all sorts of shit. Anything people could find to help people out. Because, there's a certain point where certain legal bodies understand that legality is out the window.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about laws.
No, it happened in Nazi Germany. I'm not going to an extreme example, but it happened in Nazi Germany. Even when the Nazis were killing and exterminating the Jews, they had to let Jews pass. They had diplomatic passes through. They went straight through Germany onto France or the UK. They couldn't touch them. Even though they hated them, they couldn't touch them because they had proper documentation. And if there was one thing the Nazis valued, it was documentation. I know this is a different situation, but I'm just saying, documentation holds above all.
Yep. Unless you have people breaking the law, which, they'll usually help you out in terrible situations, whether that hurts them.
Well, didn't happen in this case.
No.
In a statement to the Post, the company alluded to bureaucratic red tape. On Friday, Marriott was able to secure a ferry to transport about 600 of our guests from St. Thomas to Puerto Rico. These were guests who had to stay behind after the airport closed in advance of Hurricane Irma. The ferry departed St. Thomas on Friday, September 8th, with the Marriott guests on board. There were a number of additional people gathered at the dock who were not guests, who also expressed a desire to leave St. Thomas. We very much wanted to assist these other travelers to Puerto Rico. However, the Marriott team on the ground was told that they had no authorization to board passengers who were not on the approved manifest. This was enforced by dock security. With Hurricane Jose on path to St. Thomas, the ferry had a tight window to pick up passengers and safely depart. And as a company, Marriott places a priority on the safety and security of our guests, but we also have a long tradition of looking out for the greater community. In this case, we weren't able to help, and as grateful as we are that we were able to transport our guests, we are saddened that we're not able to do the same for more people. We continue to work with local authorities in St. Thomas to help support the relief efforts there. But Howard and others saw it as a case of corporate callousness during a life-threatening situation. He told the Post that local officials were pushing for the tourists to get on the boat. They were using limited resources that could be used by islanders who couldn't sail away from the aftermath.
Don't sail away.
Don't sail away.
Don't sail away.
Let's see. Hurricane Jose ultimately did turn north and had minimal effect on the battered island. But as the people watched the Marriott chartered vessel pull away, no one knew or how long St. Thomas would be cut off from supplies of food and water. People had also received scattered reports of lawlessness at other increasingly desperate Caribbean islands. But still, Howard said, the people on the ship said no. This was the whole sense I got out of it. We didn't pay enough money to stay at a Marriott place. Therefore, we weren't good enough to get on that boat. That's just a bit of an over-exaggeration. I mean, I assume Marriott resorts are probably pretty pricey at these hotels.
maybe.
But I mean, there are other resorts there, and I'm sure their guests wouldn't have been allowed on this shit.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's difficult to say. You know, I mean, I understand, like, Marriott, they were following the laws that they had to, by the security of the port, that only people on the manifest would be allowed in, and the ship was following those security directions as well, even though there was more space for more passengers. It's just unfortunate circumstances, you know. I don't know. What do you think?
About what?
About Marriott not being able to allow people on board of this ship.
Well, is St. Thomas a part of Puerto Rico?
No, St. Thomas was a separate island, but it was St. Thomas's
same
port
municipality.
was going to ferry people to Puerto Rico to get on flights, etc. home.
Yeah, but which dock security wasn't going to let him in? Because if it was Puerto
No,
Rico,
dock security at St. Thomas was only allowing people who were guests on the manifest to get onto the ship. Because the ferry was in St. Thomas.
But I feel like it's also the same thing for Puerto Rico. Because when they sail on Puerto Rico, since it's a completely different island, and since it has its own governing structure, that I feel like that manifest would also hold true. Yeah, but still. Like, it would cause problems.
I'd have been like, I'm an American bitch. I'm in at about a Marriott. But goddamn, we're going to Puerto Rico. Deal with the embassy there.
I mean, yeah, you could have done that. But
well, clearly it didn't work.
They still would have been like, hey, you know, you guys are harboring people or whatever.
I would have been like, I best of the money. So, how much is this going to take? 1,000? 2,000? What will it take to get me on this ferry?
That would probably work.
Of course it would.
I mean, everybody loves money. Not for thousands, even a couple $100 in somebody's pocket would probably work, to be honest.
You're like $500. We'll go.
$500 is a lot of fucking money. Yeah, I don't think anybody.
Yeah, but to get off of a life or death situation on an island.
No, I know. But I'm saying, like, it's a lot of money for somebody to deny. Per person, they're like, $500 per person?
Yeah, sure, $500 per person.
But then they're going to look really terrible at that point.
Hey, I got money. Fucking, I ain't staying on an island to die.
Kenneth, you'd be like those rich assholes. Like in what is it? The 2012 movie? You're going to be one of those people. You're going to be like Yuri. Fucking asshole. You're going to be one of those guys.
I would not be fucking Yuri.
Yes, you would. You'd be one of those guys. Duh. I have money. They sold me on this car. Star. With the heavy, slow Russian accent, and it's just like, everybody, shut up. Car, start. It's just like, they sold me on that future. Oh, Lord have mercy.
No, but I would have been the guy like, look, there's those hundreds of people on the dock. Get them on here.
And they'd be like, sir? It's when you're like,
I have $40,000. Get these people on the ship. God damn it.
How much does a ship cost? Well, sir, it costs a couple $100,000. Rights check. I own your ship now. Let's load. Let's go.
Let's go.
If you're that rich, you can just do that. I own you and your entire company. What's your company? Press a few buttons on your phone. I own your entire company. Let's get.
All right, I've already made a deal with the CEO. It's mine now. Let's go.
Yes, sir. the whole backwards open palm thing just. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Fearing Russia. What is this? Is that a Russian dude?
It's Sweden.
Is that Sweden? Dude, they have weird camo. They have like.
I kind of like it. Well, I mean, it makes sense considering the region they're in. Like American camo, works in multiple areas, but their camo, they're in the north, so they have a, heavily forested area.
Well, that's like super OD green. Well, the American camo is alright. They use Digi now, though. I don't think they use that spotted shit anymore. But what I'm talking about is how that's formed. Their camo is a bunch of straight lines and straight angles. It's also much darker. Literally, you can lay down in, I guess, moss. Mm-hmm. The middle of the dark.
I like how it looks.
It looks interesting. I just find it weird. That is a really old dude, too. Anyway.
Well, he's a supreme commander of the Swedish Armed Forces.
Oh god, I have to enhance this or something. Fearing Russia, neutral Sweden launches largest war games in 20 years. With support from NATO countries, Sweden simulates an attack from the east on the Baltic island of Gotland. Neutral Sweden has launched its biggest war games in 2 decades with support from NATO countries, drilling 19,000 troops after years of spending cuts that have left the country fearful of Russia's growing military strength. On the eve of Russia's biggest I feel like that's not spelled correctly. Anyway, since 2013, which NATO says would be greater than 13,000 troops, Moscow says...
It is.
It is what?
It's spelled correctly.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Moscow says that are involved. Sweden will stimulate an attack from the east on the Baltic island of Gotland near the Swedish mainland. The security situation has taken a turn for the worse. Michael Biden, the commander of the Swedish Armed Forces, said during a presentation of the 3-week-long exercise in 2010. Sweden ended a 109-year-old national tradition by abolishing its military draft, but brought it back this past March in response to a more dangerous neighborhood. Sweden, like the Baltics, Poland, and much of the West, has been deeply troubled by Vladimir Putin's 2014 annexation of Ukraine's Black Sea Peninsula, Crimea, and its support for rebels in eastern Ukraine.
Which, even though Russia may deny that, we have facts and evidence to back up that they were supporting the rebels. And that there were Russian troops in Crimea during the rebellion.
There was Russian Spetsnaz specifically there, I believe.
Well, yeah, that, and just general Russian troops. And it's so funny, because they had, like, journalists like, so, are you Russian troops? And we're like, no, yes, no. And then, like they had, like, the full, like, Russian uniform. They just, like, blacked out, like, patches.
That's funny.
Rather amusing.
Around 1,500 troops from the United States, France, Norway, and other NATO allies are taking part in the exercise, dubbed Aurora. Non-NATO member Sweden has decided to beef up its military after having let spending drop from over 2% of economic output in the early 1990s to around 1%, and is reintroducing conscription. The armed forces, which at one point could mobilize more than 600,000, stand at just 20,000 with 2,200 more Home Guard volunteers. NATO generals say the Aurora exercise is not a response to Russian exercises that start on Thursday. Of course they're not. They're not. Anyway, Biden, speaking as U.S. and French forces displayed mobile surface-to-air missile systems to be deployed during the exercise, stressed the importance of NATO for Sweden. We are a sovereign country that takes care of and is responsible for our safety. We do this together with others, ready to both support and receive help, he said. The United States shipped vehicles by sea from Germany, while France brought others by train. They are to be moved via a classified route to Sweden's east coast for exercise, where U.S. attack helicopters will play the enemy during Aurora. The government is determined to stick to the country's formal neutrality. Sweden has not fought a war since it clashed with Norway in 1814, but like its non-NATO neighborhood Finland, Sweden has been drawing closer to NATO, allowing closer cooperation with alliance troops with a view to working together in the event of an armed conflict. And I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty shit.
But yeah, no, that's fucking...
I mean, it's getting into dangerous territory, it seems.
Well, yeah, everything's dangerous. The whole world's a dangerous place.
So as we covered briefly, or we didn't even talk on, we didn't have a story about this, but briefly. So, there was a massacre going on of the Rohingya in Burma, also known as
DACA trivia.
I forget. But anyways, if we can feed 160 million, we can also feed 700,000 Rohingya refugees. The Premier also directed the local government to make sure the sick and wounded Rohingya were well taken care of in hospitals and they received immediate medical attention. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Monday said Bangladesh can feed 700,000 Rohingya refugees. We have the ability to feed 160 million people of Bangladesh, and we have enough food security to feed 700,000 refugees. The Prime Minister had a program visiting the
Kutupalong
refugee camp in
Ukhia.
That's bizarre.
Cox's Bazaar. Weird.
After visiting the refugee camp and distributing aid, Sheikh Hasina Hasina?
Yes,
Hasina.
there's the I there. Yeah.
Hasina.
Hasana. That's an I instead of an. Okay, try.
Spoke of the 10 million Bengali refugees during the Liberation War and said, "We let the Rohingya in on humanitarian grounds, and I asked the people of this country to help ease their suffering in whatever way they can. Violence, it's Myanmar, of course. Burma, also known as Myanmar. Violence erupted again in the Rakhine state of Myanmar on August 24th, forcing almost 300,000 Rohingya refugees into Bangladesh, totaling the amount so far to 700,000. The Prime Minister went on to say, "I asked the international community to put Myanmar government to take back their nationals. Bangladesh wants to maintain peace and good relations with its neighbouring countries, but I cannot accept unjust acts of the Myanmar government. We will do all that we can to ease the suffering of the Rohingya refugees." Asking for peace, the Prime Minister said, "Does the Myanmar government not have a conscience? How can they displace hundreds of thousands of people because of a few?" Hasina also directed local government to make sure the sick and wounded were well taken care of. So, as we should have covered this last week, but hurricane coverage. So in the country of Myanmar, Myanmar doesn't actually declare these people to be citizens of the nation. They declare them to be Bangladeshi citizens. And the Bangladesh government considers the Rohingya citizens of Myanmar or Burma. Because neither one of these countries wants to deal with it, but the Rohingya have been in Burma for quite a long time, since, I think, a couple hundred years. But they've always been an outcast group. I believe it's due to religious differences. I believe the country of
that's how everything works in
Burma is heavily Buddhist, and the Rohingya are Muslims. So a lot of it prompted, they've been a historically hated group of people. They don't really have a lot of resources wherever they are. I mean, they live in camp cities kind of thing. Probably don't even have running water.
Speaking of camp cities, word. Even though you probably weren't going to play it. Yeah.
So these people have been, abused and displaced their entire existence.
Kind of like the Jews. They're hated for being different. That's how a lot of things. That's one of those things that humans have by nature. It's just a part of human nature to hate people. Not necessarily hate, but to dislike them for being different. Everybody
it's
has
the in-group, out-group mentality because you have a group of people that you're a people. And that's where you'll do what it takes to defend and protect them and give them resources.
It's kind of like
over somebody else you don't know.
That I shit talk daily, but I still love all of our guys.
Yeah.
But I'm still nice to everybody else too. So
yeah. But this is just despicable. They've burned down villages with men, women, and children, elderly people still inside of these camps, and then they've taken the bodies that they've burned and destroyed.
Oh wait, Buddhists were doing that?
I believe the country's primarily Buddhist.
Because, that just doesn't sound like something that Buddhists would do.
I know.
Are you sure, these people didn't piss them off?
Well, supposedly there was a couple terrorists as a part of the Rohingya group, but I'm not sure whether that's true or whether they're using that as a prompt to commit this horrible crime against humanity.
If they are Muslim, then it's believable. Because a lot of the Muslim doctrines are inherently
the Rohingya are. The Rohingya are Muslim. Of course, then whenever they were trying to evacuate, the Burmese put landmines across the border on their border between them and Bangladesh to kill refugees. That's a despicable practice. Let's see.
I feel like that's against Geneva Convention. I think landmines are against
it is.
Geneva
the landmines
Convention.
are. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Here it is, religion.
But since it's happening in some bumfuck...
Yeah, no, the country is 87% Buddhist.
That just doesn't strike me as something
it
Buddhists
doesn't really
would
match with the teaching of Buddhism.
Because Buddhism is usually a lot better than shit like that. That's weird.
It's the most religious Buddhist country in terms of population, in proportion of monks in the population, in proportion of income spent on religion.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. So it's a bit, how these people pervert, these teachings in their religion. And that's the thing, it's Buddhism. Nobody has anything bad to say about Buddhism normally.
Yeah, I know, that's why I said I find that really weird.
Although, on the other side in Bangladesh, there were Sikhs helping the refugees. Because there's always Sikhs.
There's Sikhs. Sikhs help out everybody. Hey, okay, so I watched a movie recently with Gerard Butler. Good movie. It's like Family Man or whatever. And like, just doing generic Gerard Butler things. Starts off really bad. He works for a headhunting recruiting agency, and like he's just basically fucking over people's lives and stuff like that. And then, so me being a jobless guy, this doesn't give me hope for trying to get jobs. I'm like, I believe all of this. Because I've seen stuff like this before, too. And, so anyway, his kid gets diagnosed with, like, cancer. And so, like, their doctor is a Sikh, and, like, he's, at first he's, like, being kind of semi, like, racial overtones. Like, he's Gerard Butler. He plays good roles as an angry person. Like, he's really good in most of his movies. Mm-hmm. But it's just, like, the dude's a Sikh. But then the kid asks him, why he wears the turban or whatever, like, why do you wear a headdress? Because the kid's asking about all these things. Kid gets into architectural design and, like, basically gets into culture and why it exists or whatever. So he asks him, what his turban means and stuff like that. And he basically explains the whole, like, idea of being a Sikh. And I was like, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Their ideology is that they should help everyone and anybody they can and stuff like that. It's like,
yeah, doing good acts and such.
Yeah, and I was like,
it's a part of their. Yeah.
And it's like, if I could take your sickness unto myself, I would, and stuff like that. That's what he was saying. I was like, God damn. And like that movie, I'm like getting teary eyed through a lot of it. I'm like,
my soul.
Yeah, and I'm just like, nothing will make me cry. I'm like,
yeah, that's good.
It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I've never heard a bad thing about Sikhs. Like, there's one group of people I've never heard anything bad about. It's them. Yeah. I mean, they're better at doing good than Christians are.
But it's because a lot of let's talk about Joel Osteen for a moment. Christians.
He's non-denominational, man.
I'm going to do the aliens thing and just Christians. Anytime I see stupid shit, it's like, Christian man denies other people, things because his belief says, fuck those guys. And it's like, what? Christians. Love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor.
Yeah, so as I was saying, so they were taking the burned bodies and they were either destroying them or throwing them into the river to try and make it seem like they didn't kill them.
Weird.
That's the thing, when they're not letting, like, UN, observers into these camps. Because obviously if the UN came in and saw that, they'd be like, yeah, no, Burma, we're going to wreck your shit with international sanctions.
And they'd be like, yeah, no, you gotta stop doing that. And then the UN would step in and do what the UN always does, which is
send in peacekeepers and keep the peace.
Yep. It just sounds so, like, bad. But like we discovered, they don't ever really shoot anybody or whatever.
No, they're there to keep peace.
Yep. They're actual peacekeepers. They're not like Americans' version of a peacekeeping force. Oh, yeah, we'll send the peacekeepers. Our hardest, most trained individuals that go in and tactically kill everybody.
Yeah.
They're the peacekeepers. That's how America keeps the peace, by overwhelming force.
Yeah, but it's just disturbing. I mean, this is a modern-day genocide of a people. Or attempted genocide.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, did they think they would get away with this, honestly? Did they think, they could commit these crimes against humanity and get away with it, honestly? It's like, yeah, we'll kill 700,000, 900,000, 1 million people and get away with it.
And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you rotten kids. Anyway, on to the United States news. Biskupski. Officers violated 6 policies and Alex Wubble's arrest. That fucking name! I'll always remember what the story is for. Dude, what is that? Is that the microphone? What is that? What is that?
Yes, that
wire
mess
vest?
of cables is
What
the damn mic.
fuck?
Whoever wired that, and they fire them.
It just looks like she's like, man, fuck it. I'm just putting the mic on there.
It's like, God damn it, she won't care.
It just looks terrible.
I think she's either the governor or the mayor.
Something.
I'm not sure which.
She looks kind of like E. I mean, look at that facial structure. Looks like Woody Harrelson. Anyway, would you like a picture of Woody Harrelson for comparison? Do you know who Woody Harrelson is?
Pull it up.
Damn, that's a
It's a
small
tiny
picture.
picture.
Yeah, we'll go with this one. So see this facial structure? And then we go back over here.
Mm.
See? Yeah. Anyway, an internal investigation found that 2 Salt Lake City police officers violated 6 staff policies during a controversial July 24th arrest of University Hospital nurse Alex Wubbles. Mayor Jackie Biskupski, which is that lady, revealed Wednesday. A civilian review board also found the officers violated policies, she said. The confrontational arrest was captured in police body camera footage that went viral last month. Some of the body camera footage belonged to the Salt Lake City Police Detective Jeff Payne, who arrested Wubbles after she refused to provide a blood sample of a man who was involved in a fatal crash. The investigators revealed that Payne and his watch commander, Lieutenant James Tracy, violated 6 specific policies, Biskupski said. Those policies included conduct unbecoming by a police employee, courtesy in public contacts. I didn't even know those were things. Policy regarding arrests, misdemeanor citations, situations requiring a report, law enforcement code of ethics, and city policy regarding standards of conduct for employees, the mayor said. Wow, the mayor just dunked on those people. That's how the police should be treated.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I mean, the police serve a function and a duty, but they're not above the law.
Yeah,
they're there to enforce the law.
That's a lot of the thing
become
that police don't understand. They believe they are the law. I am the law.
I mean, that's what the guy literally said. He's like, "This is my law."
Yeah, it's kind of like the Super Nintendo. I'm your boss. Like, yeah, I get that, but that doesn't mean you still own my livelihood and my existence just because you're above me in the chain of command. Somebody else pays your bills too. Technically, the people at the top, who honestly shouldn't be there, are publicly elected. It shouldn't be the top, technically. It's so weird. Yeah. But anyway, Wubbles was later released and was not charged. Tracy reportedly instructed Payne to retrieve the blood sample without a warrant. Biskupski said on Wednesday's announcement that won't be the final step in the process. Both officers have 20 days to respond to the allegations, he said. After the 20-day period, the findings of the investigations will be turned over to Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown, who will use the information to make a decision about the employment of the 2 officers. Biskupski said Wubbles' arrest has divided the community. She said Salt Lake City police officers are some of the best law enforcement officers in the country. I believe this community feels as I do, that the rift this has caused in our city must be healed. Oh God, that terminology. The rift must be healed.
You gotta heal.
Every day, the men and women of Salt Lake City Police Department work to protect and defend our citizens and our residents. Full descriptions of the policy violations according to the Internal Affairs Investigation can be found in the document below. Scroll, don't give a shit, cool. Scroll. Let's see me scrolling. Oh, that's completely redacted there. Alright, that's it, cool. I saw this. Now, this is something that comes up and I have to speak about too. Sometimes you just can't take an animal with you.
No, but it's they get pets roaming free, but it's specifically these ones. These pets were chained up to trees and shit, in cages in a flooded house.
Yeah, that's different.
There's these people, these despicable people.
Well, some people got out so quick or accidentally left animals. some of these people got flooded.
how would anybody forget? The family dog. You know, my good buddy who's always...
You can forget it when you're freaking the fuck out about water entering your house and trying to get out before you die.
I suppose so, but if it's already at that point, you should have evacuated a long fucking time ago.
Well, that's why a lot of people get to those points, and they get stuck in those places and need to be saved.
I mean, look at that guy. He's carrying his dog. If it is
Pretty sure that's his dog?
That's a Cuban carrying his pet.
Yep. Where's the Flood Street in Havana?
So pet owners who abandon their furry companions during Hurricane Irma could face criminal charges. We will find you, and we will persecute you.
We will find... I have a particular set of skills. I will find you.
Said Dave Arenberg, the state prosecutor for Palm Beach County in Florida. Leaving a pet behind to fend for itself during a major storm is a prime example of animal cruelty. Following the hurricane that struck Florida over the weekend, 40 dogs were rescued by Palm Beach County animal care and control officers. Many of the animals had been tied to poles or left in pens outside. There's absolutely no excuse for doing that. That's a fucking...
I mean, leaving it in a pen outside is fine because it's an open area still.
And then whenever the floodwaters get up to a foot and it drowns in its cage?
No. In a pen outside, a pen is just an area, not an actual cage. A cage is different.
I don't know.
A pen is just like a fenced-in area.
I think of a pen as like a cage.
Oh, let's go. Animal pen.
That's anime pen.
Well, I'm gonna leave this open in a second. I'm telling you, man, it's so integral into my existence that, like, it's in there. Yeah, see? That's...
Yeah, but still, you can't get out of the damn thing.
You can. If water raises up that high, they just float over.
It could still get exhausted and drown.
Most of the dogs can actually jump out of pens, anyway.
Depends on the type of dog. I mean, look at that pen. That thing's like, a good 4 feet.
Which one? This one?
No, the other one.
This one?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Like what, 3-4 feet?
No, that's a bunny, dude. Shit's tiny. It's like up to your knees.
I don't know.
They're tiny pins. Like, these are tiny. This is like probably more of what people are talking about. Like in a fenced-in area. Which is still... I mean, if they're chained up inside of it, they can't get out. However, if they're just outside in some sort of pen like this, they can get out. But yeah. I mean, it's a hard thing, but, a lot of people are, like, super negative on people that leave animals that sometimes you can't take it. The other problem with, like, having animals trying to evacuate animals, first of all, for us, we took our 4 cats and 3 dogs, and, like, space constraints. And not only that, finding a place to take animals is the hardest part. Especially since I have big animals.
Yeah, actually, hotels cannot deny you the ability to bring your animals. Even hotels that say you can't bring animals, that is illegal. They have to allow you to bring animals.
Really?
Yeah, I was looking into that. And it's like,
yeah, but they can still charge you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, they can, but that's besides the point. Is that they can't deny you. Even if they say they do, they can't. Specifically because you're evacuated due to a hurricane, they can't deny you. So, and if they do, they're subject to massive legal fines. At that point, I'd be like, look, you let my animals stay here, or I'm going to call the Attorney General, and he's going to fine your hotel. A lot more than it will cost to just let me keep my pets here.
Yep. Or, you could let me do it, or you could suck my... Yay, hollow.
Literal anime pen.
Man, here we go. The fucking...
By law, if pet owners give their animals to a shelter before the hurricane or a major storm hits, they are unable to get them back once the event has passed. They had to rescue a leopard? A cheetah.
What?
No, these are animals taken to shelter from the zoo in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Including a cheetah.
Wow.
And a Eurasian eagle owl. Flamingos.
Fucking flamingos. I've actually never seen a real flamingo.
I've seen flamingos. They're very loud birds.
They're very loud.
Brown pelicans and
all
white
birds
American
are loud.
pelicans. African crested porcupine. A macaw. Parrot. Huh, very colourful.
Macaws are pretty normal.
Oh, look at that, an African grey parrot. It looks very pretty.
What? How did you know that was? Oh, the birds on the sides.
And I mean the cheetahs. That's just cool. That's just cool.
They're just giant cats. I like kitty cats.
I know.
Squawk!
All the murder kitties.
Do what?
The murder kitties.
Yep.
So the SPCA has rescued up to 600 animals in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina in the aftermath of Irma, according to Yahoo News. It is critical for pet owners to consider their animals when preparing for any disaster, and we strongly urge them to always bring their animals with them if they have to evacuate their home, ASPCA Vice President said. The ASPCA stands ready to assist animals in Hurricane Irma's path, but the first and best line of defense for a pet will always be a well-prepared owner. Well,
like I said, it's hard. Like I said, especially if you have really large animals, dogs, like we do.
Yeah, but you
have,
still brought
fully
them.
Outside dogs. Well, yeah, that's because the way my family works. Like the truck was reserved for all the dogs, and then they threw all of the cats in my sister's car. No, we only have 2 bags, right? 2 bags for the cats. So I had to fucking 69 2 of the cats into one bag. The ones that actually like to stay together, they're both so pissed. They're attacking each other in this bag. But normally they'll sleep together and stuff. Sometimes literally on each other and cuddle. Mm-hmm. That's cute. So yeah, we're all right, we're sticking them both in the bag. That's only meant to fit one of them. And then the fluffy cat, Prissy Kitty, gets her own bag, and then the little cat is outside. My sister, she had a fucking harness on her, and when you put the harness on that cat, the cat just gets disabled, and she moves so slowly and just freaks out.
Well, yeah, because cats are naturally worried about something touching them.
Yeah, usually on their stomach, especially.
Yeah, so when they feel that, they don't know how to react to it, so they just don't move. That's a legit thing veterinarians do, is that there's a specific way to hold cats that just makes them freeze.
Well, there's the pinching thing at the back of the neck.
Yeah, I think that's what they do.
Well, that's actually a nerve that literally stops them and disables them. That's literally what that is. It's a special place in the nape of the neck. You grab them, and they just can't move. They're just they're frozen. It's great. And so veterinarians go and they'll take a fucking bag, clip it right there,
exactly
and then they'll just be oh, that's what we had to do to get some of the cats in. I'm just I just grabbed the cats, and I was just push.
There you go, get in the damn bag.
Push.
Yes, goal! Goal.
No, they're all I did was grab the front hand, throw it in there, shove it into the bag, and that was it. It's pretty easy. The bigger cat was harder, because he's a huge-ass cat. But, yeah, it's pretty funny. It's funny, they were just so, the cats, they were all right inside the bags, but the little cat with the fucking harness on was just, freaking out. We had trouble finding her the next day inside that house. They were worried that somebody had let her out or whatever, had lost her. But all the cats ended up huddling in a corner of the room and, sitting near the same object, even though they hate each other. All of the cats hate the little cat for some reason, because she's the newest cat. Yeah, she's the nicest one though. It's terrible, but they're just all here. They're fine. But that cat was traumatized for a while. She wouldn't come near anybody. After we all came home, all the other cats, as soon as they got home, they were just back to normal. But she was freaking the fuck out, and she's still not back to normal 100%. She's getting better though. Isn't that the whole thing? Didn't we cover that?
No, that's today.
Really? They launched another one?
Mm-hmm.
Korean missile. Who's that at?
Yes, no, that's just a story I kept on. So, at least 8 dead after Irma leaves Florida nursing home with no AC. Police are investigating the deaths of 8 nursing home residents in Hollywood, Florida, where oppressive heat and humidity set in after Hurricane Irma knocked out much of the power in the area.
Oh no, the heat's an oppressor. It's oppressive.
It's triggering me. The Rehabilitation Center at Hollywood Hills said our residents aged 71 to 99 died following the prolonged outage of our air conditioning system due to Hurricane Irma. The center did not lose power during the storm, but it lost a transformer that powers the air conditioning. Nursing home Administrator George Carballo said in a statement late Wednesday, he added that the center immediately contacted Florida Power and Light and continued to follow up with them for status updates on when repairs would be made. Outreach was made to local emergency officials and first responders, Caballo said, without specifying when. Staff set up mobile cooling units and fans to cool the facility and continually checked on our residents' well-being to ensure they were hydrated. We are devastated by these losses. We are fully cooperating with all authorities regulators to assess what went wrong. It's terrible. Questions abound. The nursing home statement was the latest in a day of finger-pointing among state officials, Florida Power and Light, and the nursing home, leading to more questions than answers about how the sweltering conditions persisted for so long. Jeffrey Nova said he learned of his mother's death Wednesday from a reporter who got his name and contact info from a nursing home employee. Communication with the staff had always been like pulling teeth, so it did not strike him as unusual that they had not been returning his calls since Sunday. Otherwise, he'd never experienced a problem with the staff in the 8 years his mother, Gail Nova, had lived there. It's just ridiculous. The staff has never been disrespectful in any way to me or my mom, but it's always a challenge to get them to give me any input when there were things that came up with their care. One resident died late Tuesday at the rehabilitation center and was taken directly to a funeral home. Shit, just like no hospital in the corner and just straight to the funeral home. 3 more were found dead on the 2nd floor of the facility after rescue units were called in. 4 more died in hospitals after the sweltering facility was evacuated Wednesday morning in a chaotic blur of events that prompted check of other nursing homes in the area. By Wednesday evening, the state had issued an emergency moratorium on the facility admitting new patients, and Hollywood police were investigating whether any laws had been broken. In his latest statement, the Carballo attempted to clarify some of the outstanding questions. Let's see. We took part in emergency management preparedness calls with local state emergency officials, other nursing home and health regulators. In compliance with state regulation, the center did have a generator on standby in the event it would need to power life safety systems. The center had 7 days of food, water, ice, and other supplies, including gas for the generator. Temperatures had reached 90 on Tuesday in Hollywood. By Wednesday, the heat index was 100 degrees with a low in the upper 70s. What we know now is that a portion of the facility did in fact have power, and that there was a hospital across the parking lot from the facility, and the nursing home was required to have a permanently installed operational generator. Which is correct, because that's what Bayvilla has. Bayvilla has a generator, and they have outlets specific that are on that generator circuit. Mm-hmm. So this is within lines of a nursing home. But it's a bit ridiculous that, there's a hospital literally right across the street that probably had power and air conditioning and such. Yeah. I don't know. This could have been resolved. I mean, clearly they evacuated this nursing home after all these people died. It's just a bit ridiculous. It took people dying for them to respond to this.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, if I had grandparents in this nursing home, or if my parents were in there, I'd be fucking raising hell from here to the ends of the earth. This nursing home wouldn't be operational by the time I was done with this place.
That white privilege. I'm gonna sue!
Class action, baby.
Class action, baby.
Yeah, and it says over here, Police Chief Thomas Sanchez described the 2nd floor as excessively hot, and the Hollywood Fire Chief Christopher Pratt said it was more than likely the heat played a factor in the residents' condition. The firefighters evacuated 158 people from the nursing home, and another 18 patients who were in an adjacent behavioral health facility were also evacuated. Some were brought to the hospital right across the street. Others were treated for respiratory distress, dehydration, and heat-related issues. Hollywood's Hills proximity to Memorial Regional was one of the reasons Gail Nova stayed there. Her son Jeffrey said so she could seek care as she needed. It was literally feet away. It fit the things she needed. Yeah, it's just tragic.
Governor wants answers. Patients evacuated hospitals.
Yeah. So this is the incident raised concerns about the welfare of other residents at other nursing homes. There are 683 nursing homes with more than 84,000 beds, which licenses and etc. In addition, there are more than 3,100 assisted living facilities with more than 99,000 beds. Florida Healthcare Association, which represents more than 81% of Florida's nursing homes, but not the specific rehabilitation center in Hollywood Hills. In Hollywood nights, in Hollywood Hills. Said about 150 facilities out of the nearly 700 nursing homes do not have power services restored, and that the association is working with them to identify homes without power and greatest need. Let's see. Yeah, this is tragedy. Anyways.
Moving on. Shkreli ordered jailed after online bounty on Hillary Clinton's hair. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Ordered jailed. What?
Good old farmer bro put out a bounty on Hillary Clinton's hair.
Wow. A U.S. judge on Wednesday ordered Martin Shkreli to be jailed while he awaits sentencing for securities fraud, citing a Facebook post in which the former drug company executive offered a $5,000 reward for a strand of Hillary Clinton's hair. Shkreli, 34, dubbed the Pharma Bro for exploits that include jacking the price of life-saving drug by 5,000%, was silent and stony-faced as U.S. Marshals let him out of a Brooklyn courtroom. He had been free on a $5 million bail since his December 2015 arrest. U.S. District Judge Kiyo Matsumoto, wow, Japanese, alright, ruled that Shkreli's September 4th post made shortly before Clinton embarked on a book tour showed he posed a danger to the public. The post prompted an investigation by the U.S. Secret Service, which is charged with protecting the former Democratic presidential candidate. The judge rejected arguments by Shkreli's lawyer, Benjamin Brofman, that the post was protected free speech, saying one of Shkreli's followers, who number more than 93,000, could take it seriously.
Yeah.
This solicitation of assault in exchange for money, the judge said, is not protected by the First Amendment.
I would have just gone to Clinton like, hey, I bought your book. Now then, can I get a lock of your hair? This one crazy guy's offering $5,000 for it.
Yeah, I know. You could just easily just do that. And
she probably would have been like, I guess. And she probably just would have sent us to get a brush or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
But I understand the judge is saying that it's threatening Hillary Clinton's, threatening Hillary Clinton. And she is the First Lady, and the former President Kennedy, and former Secretary of State. So
Shkreli was convicted in August of defrauding investors of 2 hedge funds herein. Matsumoto Wednesday scaled his sentencing for January 16th. Shkreli said in a letter to Matsumoto on Tuesday that his Facebook post was meant as satire. Brofman repeated the argument on Wednesday, but Matsumoto was not convinced.
I really hope he gets
What's
the
funny
maximum.
about that, she demanded. Matsumoto was visibly angry throughout the hearing, also pointed to a post by Shkreli in July, crudely saying he would have sex with a female journalist, Lauren Duca, as part of a pattern of threatening behavior.
Is that threatening behavior to wanting to have sex with a person?
I don't think so.
I
feel like that's a little bit of gender bias there, honestly.
Yeah, I feel that's a bit much. I mean, people say they want to have sex with ex-celebrity all the time.
It's pretty true, yeah.
Man,
I would totally bang that celebrity. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Women do the same thing to men celebrities, too.
Yeah.
Like, especially with all that Magic Mike and shit. It's like, I would just sit on Channing Tatum's face. You know how many times I've heard that? I've heard stuff like that all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Shkreli was banned from the social media platform Twitter in January for harassing Duca after she rebuffed his invitation to attend Trump's inauguration. That's funny. After Matsumoto announced her decision, Brofman pleaded with her repeatedly to reconsider signing Shkreli to what he said would be a maximum security jail, or at least give him until Monday to prove he was not a danger. The judge, however, was unmoved. We are obviously disappointed, Brofman told reporters outside the courthouse. We believe the court arrived at the wrong decision, but she's the judge and the right, and right now we will have to live with this decision. Charges against Shkreli for defrauding hedge funds MSNB Capital and MSNB Healthcare carry a maximum sentence of 20 years, but he will likely serve much less, in part because none of the investors lost money.
I thought they lost money.
Still, yeah, like why does it?
Because from what they said is that he took money from MSNB Capital, moved it into MSNB Healthcare, one of the ways, to pay for debts that the companies picked up or whatever. So I think the investors did lose money, so I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it's Reuters, so they're usually pretty good on fact-checking their stuff, so...
So maybe it didn't actually lose money. Maybe
that's surprising.
Because maybe it's the same thing, because it's technically the same, original named company, MSNB.
Well, no, they're two different hedge funds, they're two different pools of investors.
Yeah, but maybe they knew that they were going to cover one of the others or whatever.
No, they didn't. That's the problem. That's the entire thing. Is that he told them, these, I'm really good at investment, I'm really knowledgeable in hedge funds, etc. I've been managing them for years. And he's like, okay, he's got a good track record or whatever. That's what he showed them. Mm. And then he took this money and he moved it around to pay off debts of former companies and the other hedge fund. So, so they got defrauded.
I hope he gets prominence in 2015 when, as chief executive Turing Pharmaceuticals, he raised the price of anti-infection drug Darafrim by 5,000%. The move outraged U.S. lawmakers and patients. All right, whatever.
Come on, give him the maximum, Judge.
Smack that man down. Oh, I was watching a high-speed chase the other, last night from California. It was funny. It was being Facebook live streamed from a fucking helicopter. And, the news person's like, yeah. So, at first the LAPD or whatever is following this guy. And then, eventually the dude bro, the commander of the thing, tells them to turn off the searchlights. Then they lose the car. But the news crew was on the car the whole time, still recording it. And then eventually they just called off the search. And so, they're still following the dude. He ends up going, after they called off the search a little bit, drives around a little bit more, and he stops at a gas station. He parks his car at a gas station, gets out and just sprints off into the darkness. And it's just this, like I said, the dude said he looked like a tall white guy wearing a cap. And yeah, the dude just wearing a cap, you can't, make out any real features. He just sprints into this dark wooded area by this apartment complex. And I'm like, huh. I was like, so you can easily escape by just driving fast and driving better. See, down here they would chase you to the ends of the earth, I think.
Well, no, police aren't supposed to chase people if they go over a certain speed, because then it becomes a danger to the public.
No, really.
So yeah, if you can actually, literally, if you can go fast enough, you can actually outrun the cops. Because cops' cars are designed for straightaways. Mm-hmm. They're designed for long, straight, fast movements. So if you go through something that's turning, twist turns, etc., those things drive like a fucking land whale.
Well, that's another thing. Is my friend was actually telling me about the new Chargers or whatever the police force has been using, state troopers and stuff. The old Chargers were super heavy, and they were really good. They had long bodies and shit because they were bigger sedans. Well, the new Chargers, actually, the new police Chargers are actually really prone to flipping, is what he told me. And, he talked about, countless times they're his grandpa was a SWAT commander or whatever, and was a sheriff for a while. He drives all these cars or whatever. He's glad that he didn't get one because they're super prone to flipping. I was like, what? He's like, why would they do that? And I'm like, oh yeah, they're not the smartest. It goes fast. But a lot of the police vehicles are ungoverned, so they can go faster than most cars. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just like the thing in Japan, from Tokyo Drift. If you go over a certain speed, they won't even try to catch you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
because the Japanese cars are actually
that's a legit thing. Because if you're running from a cop and you're going so fast that because the police chase would be a danger to the public, they will back off. They'll still find you. They'll have your plate or whatever. Or they'll probably have a helicopter on you, but they won't. Chase you. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they get your plate in the first place, yeah. But no, yeah, they'll chase you for a while, but no. But I mean, down here, getting away from them is not necessarily easy because it's just all of it's straightaways.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Spokane school shooting stopped by hero janitor. Authorities say.
I think it's what they tell you not to do. Is this video something?
I think it's a video about it. Yeah.
You want to roll the video?
Sure.
High school yesterday, just south of Spokane, with students describing the scene as bloody and chaotic. Authorities say sophomore Caleb Sharp came to school on the bus in the morning, armed with 2 weapons in his duffel bag, a rifle and a handgun. They say just after 10 a.m., he opened fire, shooting 1 student in the head and killing him, and injuring 3 other teenage girls. The whole thing lasted only about a minute before he was taken down by a school custodian.
I turned around and I saw him, and he was just going, and he was completely passive, and he was just shooting, and he shot one young man, and then I crouched down onto the floor, and I'm pretty
She's
sure
got
he
like a
shot
permanent
the
smile or
ceiling,
something.
and then he shot the girl.
It's kind of
next to me,
weird.
and she fell down, and as everyone was running, I could just hear her screaming, "Help me!"
Is anybody
She
else
was
not
screaming,
disturbed by
"Help
that
me,
or
help me,"
something?
over and over.
Huh?
Is that just like the shape of her face?
Eyewitnesses say when Sharp's first gun jammed, a student approached him to try and intervene. He was shot in the head and killed. Then a custodian stepped in and tackled Sharp. Both are being hailed as heroes this morning. The 3 other teenage girls were taken to the local hospital. All are expected to survive. Investigators are still trying to figure out a motive, but some students told local reporters the shooter was obsessed with school shooting documentaries. Authorities are also combing through social media accounts which allegedly show him and his friends acting out violent scenes with guns. There are also reports at the beginning of the year the shooter had written notes to other students threatening that he would be doing something stupid. Now, keep in mind, Rockford is just a tiny town of only about 470 people, so you can only imagine the fear that has gripped that community.
Yeah. School shooter memes. We need more of them now. In my life. His gun jam. What was he using? And he just jammed. Hey man, I really want you to boom! Nice imagery.
A school custodian stopped a suspect from continuing a shooting rampage that killed 1 student and injured. That's the thing. He had a gun. He only killed 1 person and injured 3. It's like, come on, man.
The first kid that probably got up to him, like he pulled the pistol out and probably just put it against his head. Because it was like, you know.
Well, that's what they said.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, like.
Because the 1 person who got killed, he tried to go up to him whenever he saw that and tried to talk him down. And then he pulled the gun and shot him in the head.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, like, at first, you know, I was like, he killed the first student with a headshot. I was like, yo, is this kid really good at shooting? Like, just pulled out the gun in the middle of the room, just pop, 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 pop. If you're really good, you kill a lot of people. Really quickly.
Yeah. I mean, Sandy Hook, I think it was like 20?
I don't know. Well, so normally, like, it's just a hail of bullets. It's like the one dude, Columbine shooter with a fucking Tech 9. Just spray at people in their general direction. And guns have a simple point-and-click interface. It's like I said, you know, like I was telling, you know, whenever my roommate brought people over to ring my doorbell, and I was telling my mom the story, like, he was going to tell me, like, the gate was open to go around back, and I told him, like, if I would have saw a silhouette of a person appear on that glass door, and, like, my brain didn't facially recognize who you were, I would have shot you through that glass door. I was like, don't do that. I was like, that's all I needed for somebody to ring my doorbell, and then all of a sudden go around to the backyard, because that's not okay in any way, shape, or form.
Trouble.
And I was like, yeah, my mom's like, yeah, see, she's like, I bet you would have shot him. I was like, you're damn right I would have shot him through that glass window. And then I would have walked through and I would have looked down at him and I would have been like, shit, I just shot Russell, fuck. And then be like, all right, I guess I need to call an ambulance now. And be like, yeah, I shot a guy that I assumed was invading my house. My bad.
The Spokane County Sheriff's Office said Wednesday evening that the custodian approached the suspect at Freeman High School during the incident that morning and ordered him to surrender. The suspect brought 2 weapons to school. The first one he tried to fire jammed. Well, just immediately.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, what the fuck was he using that had an immediate jam? It must have not been like a good assault rifle or anything. They said it was a rifle. I don't know. It's probably like my little carbine in there. It fucking jams like every couple shots. It's probably because his mags are janky. But.
Yep. He went for his next weapon. A student walked up to him, engaged him, and that student was shot. That student did not survive.
Yeah, I guess on the fucking head.
The sheriff said the suspect fired more rounds down the hallway, striking other students, before the custodian intervened. He added that the janitor's actions were a courageous act that prevented further bloodshed.
This is actually something I've thought about, like, whatever happened if I was in a school during a school shooter incident. Because it's like the last time the school went on lockdown. I didn't fucking know. I was walking around and I saw the police running around. Nobody cared to inform me that the school was on lockdown. I was just walking around like nothing happened. And I get into a room where I'm finally supposed to go. Like, I knock and I open the door. You know, I don't knock, I just open the door and everyone looks at me and everyone looks there and I'm like, what's up? and they're like, did you not hear the school's on lockdown? And I'm just sitting there doing my work and was like, no, I actually didn't know. I was wondering why it was so quiet and why there were police everywhere. I was like, yeah, I had no idea. It just seemed weird. Nobody bothered to tell me. I saw Christopher Townsend, like, run out into the fucking parking lot and, like, he didn't decide to stop me. Nobody was talking. I just walked through the school ground.
They're like, fuck it. If he dies, he dies.
Pretty much. So I thought about, what would happen since I was at the high school, since that's probably one of the most likely places the school shooting would happen is high school or junior high. And so I thought about it. I was like, what would I do? I don't know. And then, like, a couple times we had drills where, like, teachers ran into rooms with me and locked the door, and I was like, and I'm sitting there, I look over my desk and my computer, and I'm like, something wrong? Like, nobody tells me these things. I don't get an email or nothing. I'm just sitting there, and it's just like, she's like, I don't know what's going on. We were told to just get into a room as fast as possible and hide. And I was like, what? It happened at Tinney Homes, actually. Some crazy person was calling me. I don't know.
Never happened at the junior high. Or if it did, nobody told me.
Exactly. Nobody tells us shit. Just like.
But at least with me, I was in a secure office, so.
Well, I was in the library, so it's not like super secure. But yeah, she was the librarian came in and like some other people, and I was like, just heard
guys good.
I was like, what's going on? She's like, I don't know. I heard that. And I like walked out to, this is when the computer labs needed to be fixed. So I was walking out, computer labs was doing stuff. And I walked back in and I was like, people were looking at me weird, through the doors or whatever. They were like, everyone was just running into their offices. And the police officer lady came down the hall and she doesn't say anything to me either. Nobody said anything. As if like I picked up that something was weird. But I was sitting there like, walked into there, the computer lab was doing my work, and then other people joined me. So like, they just told us to go to the nearest room, and I was like, something going on? We're going to lockdown? I don't know. They just told us that something's going on.
Someone would have grabbed one of those old computers. Like, there's enough in here to protect me.
I just build my wall of computers. Fuck with me. Yeah, but except for there's a bunch of windows on the side by the
hide
cafeteria.
under a desk and then put it in front of you.
There you go. Yeah, I could just like flip over one of those tables.
Yeah.
But no, I thought about that kind of stuff. Like, what would I do? I'm just fucking. Let me just go hide in the server.
Nobody's gonna tell you anything. So
yeah,
you're just gonna be stuck in a hall.
I'm gonna be walking around and be like, "That's a guy with a gun," and then my fucking like change to be like clinkety clankety clank. So we're just gonna turn and I'm be like, "Shit." Just not even know what the fuck's going on. Yeah. But I mean, I could go hide, like I said, in one of the server rooms. Like,
you could get there.
One of the racks. Because, like, nobody's going to go in there.
Nah. Or the auditorium.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, if you get onto the catwalk, who's going to look up there?
That's true. Yeah, to go through that one area.
Or that one back room. Nobody...
Yeah.
It's really... It's clearly visible, but it's out of the way.
Yeah. No, just go in, or just hide in any of the rooms. There was the roof stairwell access rooms up in the second story. I can go hide in one of those rooms.
Where's that?
There's one by Miss Frankson's office. Up on the, I think that's, what is it, A side, top floor. I go up the main staircase, go that way. Right next to Miss Frankson's room, there's another room that it says.
That's that one room that has that nondescript door.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's roof access. There's a stairwell that leads up there, or did. And then they made all these changes, and now, like, I think I looked in there and I was like, because when the door was open and they were working on the AC, I was just like, I didn't know this was here. And I looked and it goes up there. It's like, what the fuck? And then they sealed it up, I think. I don't know if it still goes to the roof or not. But it's still like, kind of cool and just kind of weird. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, interesting.
Yep.
So, the 3 victims who survived were all stable and doing well, officials said. Although one was expected to need surgery later Wednesday. No information on specific injuries was provided. None of the victims have been identified. The 2-lane road in the town, about 500 near the Idaho border, was clogged as worried parents sped to the school. Some people abandoning their cars in the street to get their children. Cheryl Moser said her son, a freshman, called her from a classroom after hearing shots. He called me and said, "Mom, there are gunshots." He sounded so scared. I'd never heard him like that.
That's actually that's one of those things I want to say is actually a problem with like kids and cell phones, is because that was happening too. During the same time, like, the high school filled up with like people very quickly. And that's actually a problem during like an active shooter situation, is that, parents will show up and want to try to get their kids out, and they'll cause problems for police and everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's actually a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Michael Harper, a 15-year-old sophomore student, told the AP that the suspect had been long obsessed with past school shootings. He said he saw the student at school with a duffel bag and the suspect had brought notes to the school in the beginning of the year, saying he might get killed or jailed. Harper said some students alerted counselors. Harper said the suspect had many friends and was not bullied, calling him nice and funny and weird, and a huge fan of the show Breaking Bad. The suspect rode the school bus Wednesday morning with a pistol and a rifle stashed in his duffel bag. Occasionovich said this afternoon's news conference that the suspect, whom he declined to identify, had no apparent accomplices and is being held in the county's juvenile detention center. It sounds like a case of bullying type situation, he said without elaborating.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, this is the thing? Is this another one?
Yeah, I think this is an addition to the same one. Some more information on this story.
No. Freeman shooter got gun from father's safe, shot victim twice, according to court documents. The guns used by Freeman High School student to kill a classmate and wound 3 others were taken from his father's gun safe, according to court documents. Caleb Sharp told investigators he shot his classmates Wednesday morning to teach everyone a lesson about what happens when you bully others. Sharp is accused of shooting and killing student Sam Strom at Freeman High School. He then walked down the second-floor hallway shooting randomly at others. 3 girls were wounded, including Emma Nees, Gracie Jensen, and Jordan Goldsmith. Spokane County Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich said at a press conference Thursday that Sharp will likely be tried as an adult for premeditated first-degree murder. The families of the 3 wounded students released a statement Thursday expressing their gratitude to the community and asking for privacy. Emma Nees, Jordan Goldsmith, and Gracie Jensen are all in satisfactory condition at Providence Sacred Heart Hospital, which released a statement on behalf of their families. We wish to express our overall gratitude for the outpouring of support and love you has shown our families in a time of need, the statement reads. Everyone, our friends, Freeman School District, first responders, the trauma team, and care providers at Providence Sacred Heart Medical Center and Children's Hospital, the communities of Freeman as well as Spokane have all been phenomenal.
So he had a semi-automatic rifle and a handgun along with numerous boxes of 223 rifle ammo.
An assault-style sonic rifle. So an AR-15 or an AR platform.
Something. Yeah.
Oh, that's what they're saying. I mean, 223 is AR standard ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you bring boxes of ammo, though?
I guess he figured he might use so much ammo, killing everybody in the school, that he'd need boxes.
I don't know.
That's the thing. Like, most shooters bring, like, just clips,
mags.
Mags fully loaded.
Yeah.
So that way they can just quick switch out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not giving tips here, but I'm just saying.
I'm not giving tips here. But I mean, yeah. And like that's the quote unquote better way to do it in any situation. I feel like it's probably not an assault style. I don't know. Because like you would travel with mags. It doesn't say anything about any mags here. So I feel like it wasn't an assault, like it might have been a carbine type instead or something like that. I don't know. That's weird. Either way.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just a little addition to the story. So, I mean, we know where he's got his guns. But just the thing, like, you would think the father would only have, like, one key to it. I mean, how did he get a hold of this? I mean...
Usually it's their combo safes, though. So, maybe the kid knew the combination. I mean, like you said, the kid had pictures with the guns before. Maybe, the father trusts the son, and, like, they went hunting a lot or something.
I guess so.
And that's quite possible.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have easy. I have access to one gun in my house.
I have my gun in my closet.
I have a gun in my cabinet.
So I guess we'll
not like a gun cabinet, but just a cabinet. It's the
cover this
cabinet.
last story. This will be. Is that a? No. What is this? What are those weird plant things?
Oh, I really want to cover some of these.
Which ones do you want to cover? Oh, we're almost through the entire list, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I know.
We started late. Which one of these do you want?
Let's see. The third UC Berkeley one. Boycotting? No, the other one.
This one?
Yeah, the boycott during Free Speech Week.
Did we cover one of those before? something like that. UC Berkeley did something.
Yeah, and the last one is the last two are pretty funny, and they're pretty short. So
yeah, I thought those pretty funny. And then armed men accusing the accused of holding up a bar with people in it. All right, we'll take those.
So, back to the weed.
Back to the weed.
So, court. God, I have to enhance this. Enhance. Court, no blocking marijuana sales. Arizona's top judges said no hiding behind federal drug laws. The Arizona Supreme Court won't allow state or local officials to hide behind federal drug laws to throw roadblocks into the path of those who want to sell marijuana. Without comment, it's like not even saying a word. Without comment, the justices have refused to review, much less overturn, a Court of Appeals ruling rejecting arguments that federal law trumps the 2010 voter-approved Arizona Medical Marijuana Act. The lower court said the fact that marijuana remains a felony under federal laws does not preempt the state from deciding to decriminalize it for some. The same ruling applies specifically to rebuffed contentions that having counties issue the zoning permits required for dispensaries would mean they would be illegally aiding and abetting the violation of federal law. In reaching the conclusion, the judges pointed out that nothing in Arizona law or in their ruling protects dispensary operators or even medical marijuana users from being pursued and prosecuted by federal authorities under federal law. But attorney Stephen White, who represented the dispensary that argued the case, said that, for all intents and purposes, that can't happen, at least not now. He pointed out that a provision in the budget, first inserted in 2015...
We talk to ourselves all the time. What do you mean we talk to ourselves a lot? We talk amongst ourselves. We talk to ourselves. Hey, David, you know what sounds great? Doing that one thing. Hey!
You know what? That's a great idea, Dave. But Canada, as I am Canada, I have a better idea.
Oh, okay. Fuck you. David says fuck you. The other David. The other David. Yeah. So then we're going to go on to schizophrenic.
It's more like the royal we. You gotta refer to yourself in the third person.
Kind of like the Super Nintendo in that letter. The superintendent thought, excuse me? That's I already knew it was written by a lawyer like at that point. Which is funny. The wording.
The extension, however, runs only to December 8th, which means Congress will need to vote if they want to keep it. Again, against Attorney General Jeff Sessions and his staffers in check. It basically said that the Department of Justice will refrain from using its funds to prosecute providers of medical marijuana if they're complying with the state laws. But it runs out in December, so it's... And of course, it's fucking Maricopa County who's causing this.
Who?
Maricopa County.
What is that?
It's one of the most, conservative, redneck, idiot counties in fucking Arizona. That's where Joe Arpaio came from.
Who?
Joe Arpaio.
I don't know who that is.
We covered a story about him last week where Trump gave him a presidential pardon.
Oh, that thing. I was gonna say, just because we covered a story last week doesn't mean I remember jack shit about it. Yeah.
He's a part of the sheriff's department that county.
Yeah. I remember that pointing out the duty pardons.
Yep. So the decision by the Supreme Court drew a slap from the Maricopa County attorney Bill Montgomery, who sought to use federal law to not only block new dispensaries, but effectively void the decision by voters to legalize the drug.
Wow.
That douchebag of the highest order.
I know, right?
It's like, you know what? Fuck everybody. Fuck all the voters of Arizona. It's not like they voted on this thing and got an overwhelming majority. Nah, I'm one guy. I'm going to stop this shit because I don't like it.
Because the devil's lettuce is the devil's lettuce. You smoke it and the devil takes over your soul. And then you become one of the homosexuals.
Look at it and the devil gets into it. Yeah. Don't put it in your salads, ladies and gentlemen. That's how the devil gets you. The 2010 law allows the doctors, with a doctor recommendation and CDC ID, to obtain up to 2.5 ounces of marijuana every 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
The law also sets up a network of state-regulated, privately run dispensaries to sell the drug. Before issuing a permit for a dispensary, though, state health officials need official certification from the local government that the site is properly zoned. White Man Health, seeking to locate in Sun City, which is unincorporated, sought the necessary certifications in the county. Montgomery, however, instructed county officials not to respond. He argued that doing so would make them guilty of violating federal laws, which prohibit not only the possession and sale of marijuana, but doing anything to facilitate either. Most significant, he contended that anything the state enacts cannot preempt federal law. Well, he is technically correct. Federal law and the Supremacy Clause does trump everything. But like the state said, it's still illegal under federal law, so if federal agents decide to prosecute, they could. Mm-hmm. Just not state law. So, it's not technically a violation, because federal law is supreme, but it's not like the state official has to enforce it.
Yeah. So. It's actually kind of funny that, like, the supremacy law exists, yet these states are going against, like, the government on these things.
Well, because enforcement's of a federal level.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's only the idea of, all right, so we know it's illegal. We're gonna do it anyway. Stop us. Come stop everybody. Do it.
And then
I fucking dare you.
Yeah, and the just term has a byline of like, if they're following the state laws, well then you're good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but that's just what it is. It's just, fuck you, Maricopa County.
Is this correct? I feel like it enhanced too much. No, it didn't. It was fine. This is too close to the border on my screen.
I just love the irony of this.
UC
article.
Berkeley faculty members call for boycott of classes during Free Speech Week. In a letter addressed to the UC Berkeley campus and the Berkeley community, 132 campus facility members from various departments have called for a complete boycott of classes and campus activities during Free Speech Week, which will be held on campus from September 24th to 27th. The letter was co-written by 7 faculty members, including campus associated teaching professor of African American Studies, Michael Cohen.
Of course.
Cohen. Oh no, our Cohen. He's one of them now. Anyway, it calls upon faculty to take 3 steps. Cancel classes and tell students to stay home, close buildings and departments, and allow staff to stay home, and not penalize students who are afraid of coming to campus. The letter was also signed by 56 individuals who aren't a part of the UC
Look
Berkeley
how
facility.
stupid this is. You know what they're afraid of? They're afraid of people coming in to talk. They're afraid of words. How scary.
Words, they're triggering. This is a clear threat to public higher education, Cohen said. People are coming to humiliate others and incite violence. The boycott is a refusal to allow us to happen.
They're not coming to incite violence.
I mean, some of them might.
And
to be honest.
Not the speakers. I don't think the speakers would incite violence. Humiliate others, well, if it's worthy of humiliation, then you had it coming.
Yep. According to Cohen, most of the students in his African American Studies 27 AC class are students of color.
How surprising.
Cohen said he believed that for him to ask his students to be on campus during Free Speech Week was unethical and discriminatory. How?
No, it's Free Speech Week. Literally.
It works both ways.
Speech. Let me explain that to you, because you clearly don't seem to understand that. You have freedom of speech in America, and you have a Free Speech Week at Berkeley. And guess what that means? You invite speakers with different attitudes and beliefs. You breach the boundaries of thought. You go where you don't think to go. Open your mind to a wider understanding of things you disagree with.
Anyway, Free Speech Week is being hosted by the Berkeley Patriot, that name, a conservative student newspaper. The 4-day event includes themes such as Feminism Awareness Day and Mario Savio is Dead. Speakers scheduled to be on campus include Milo Yiannopoulos and Steve Bannon, which are whatever. We are not afraid of Milo, and Coulter or Bannon's words. We have a deep anxiety over the violence that their followers bring in response, Cohen said. Chancellor Christ's idea that we have these people on campus is a fantasy and a dangerous one. Well, to be fair, those people do incite violence normally. Milo's people and those people usually do, yes, for the most part, a lot of rallies.
Not really. I've seen a bunch of the talks Milo had whenever he was doing his dangerous faggot tour around American colleges.
I wonder if I can get banned for that, because saying faggots against term service. But I mean,
it's the title of a tour.
Yeah. I don't know. We're covering the news here. The news isn't always nice and happy to see.
I mean, we just covered a freaking genocide and nuclear war. Come on, man.
Yeah. Twitch can touch my pee-pee.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, generally the people there are there to see these people.
Look at this document, though.
Yeah,
boycott the alt-right at UC Berkeley. So, see, that's not boycotting Free Speech Day. That's just specifically targeting the alt-right stuff, which is weird.
Well, that's because they consider Milo Yiannopoulos and Coulter Stephen, etc. the alt-right, or far-right. But that's the thing. It's just like, if they didn't protest, if they just let them have the talk, let them sell the tickets or whatever, they did the talk, nothing would happen. It's when you get into people's face and you yell at them and call them a horrible person for wanting to hear somebody talk that you become violent to somebody else. Violence prompts violence.
I love these comments. Don't see any engineering and science people on the list. They work for a living. That's one less point. I wonder if it's J.B. Groves, baby. No.
There's an interesting hypothesis about how Campus PC is just desperate attempt on behalf of the humanities to remain relevant as students of increasing ages, STEM majors. And that's the thing. This is ridiculous. You know what we should do? We should delay our students' education a week because we don't like that somebody's talking. We should hinder and disenfranchise our students' ability to learn by, not coming into work. And they're going to wonder.
I like the whole free day off aspect.
And then they're going to wonder why they get fired. And they'll be like, well, you refused to come to work when you were scheduled to, and your students were unable to attend class, so fucking get the hell out.
Well, we all know that it doesn't matter. If professors choose not to come to work for a week, it doesn't really matter too much. They do that in this classes all the time. I had people, I had one teacher for network administration. She missed her fucking, own classes good bit of the time. I won't say that she missed, 10 classes. And I went and saw her 2 days a week. I mean, she missed a lot. She had shit going on or whatever, but the shittier part, she wouldn't tell anybody. And so I'm just sitting there, waiting outside of the fucking room, and then she just takes 5 years. And doesn't ever come in, the whole thing is in colleges, you wait 15 minutes and they don't show up, and you're like, leave. How it works.
Yeah. So here's some of the steps that these people are calling for in Berkeley. Cancel classes, tell students to stay home. A boycott of classes affirms that our fundamental responsibilities as faculty is to protect the safety and well-being of our students. I think that's the responsibility of your campus police. Well, we understand the argument that cancelling classes might be seen as a penalty to students who want to learn. By holding class when some students cannot, and that's in caps, attend by virtue of their DACA status and the imminent threat that these campuses events hold, faculty who do hold classes are disadvantaging DACA students and others who will feel threatened by being on campus. Now, I'm not entirely versed on DACA. I was actually talking to a teacher at Holmes whose husband came to America as a child, and apparently his family got documentation and such and became U.S. citizens. I don't exactly know how the process works and such. It's clearly something there.
Clearly something there. What? Yeah. It's just like a generic thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous bullshit. I mean, all the professors American studies, African American studies, African American studies, ethnic studies, Gender and Women's Studies. Gender and Women's
no.
Studies. Film
Oh,
and Media. Spanish, Portuguese, and film and media. History of art. Art practice. Rhetoric. Dance and theater.
I feel like dancing.
Art practice, gender and women's studies, anthropology, geography. See, you would think the anthropology department would be on that shit, just be like, yeah, no, this is an interesting time to study a movement of people going on right now. Professor of Art and Architecture of Japan and Buddhist Visual Cultures Around of History, Rhetoric, Ethnic Studies. Two different people in the Department of Gender and Women's Studies. Department of French.
The Department of French. Oui. For the lady.
Ethnic Studies 4 times. English twice, and African American Studies, and English another twice. But damn, it's all bullshit. But yeah, so that's just UC Berkeley, cool. Being idiots.
Ooh, this is a really nice bow.
Also, there's a new gorilla at the Cincinnati Zoo.
Hey, I saw that story.
Mashindi is a 29-year-old male gorilla. A silverback from the St. Louis Zoo.
30 pound raw. Hi, impulsive bought this bow for her son, but we don't have time to go. If you've been shopping, cozy action is something. So we did that. That's funny.
So, man caught stealing license tag off of PBSO car with deputies inside.
There you go. Finally.
Stealing a license plate attached to a vehicle is always a bad idea. Stealing it while 3 Palm Beach County Sheriff detectives sit inside conducting surveillance is probably worse.
It's pretty fucking dumb, yes.
Wesley J. Kelly of Loxahatchee made things worse by fleeing after he was confronted by a detective. Kelly nearly hit a second detective with a stolen vehicle while he was driving, then crashed through a chain-link fence before he was apprehended. While being taken to Palm Beach County Jail, Kelly admitted he drove through a fence belonging to FedEx Freight at 5850 Premier Park Drive, because he always wanted to try ramming a gate with a car to see if it'd bust open like in the movies. Fucking hell.
Beautiful.
Detectives he also told the detectives that he needed to be arrested because it was a matter of time before he hurt himself or someone else.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what happens. That's what crazy people do. So, hey, maybe he was just crazy and needed help. And since he said things like that, it's totally a viable plea.
No.
Yep,
he still stole a car and caused property damage and tried to steal from the goddamn sheriff's office.
Doesn't matter. He can still pass it off as insanity.
I mean, yeah, it's just not okay.
Yeah.
Kelly is being held in lieu of $135,000 bail and is facing charges of burglary causing damages over $1,000. Assault on an officer, unarmed burglary, vehicle theft, possession of burglary tools, fleecing and eluding police, and resisting an officer without violence. There's also an active warrant for Kelly that was requested by the U.S. Marshals. Goddamn. Who the fuck did he piss off?
Yeah, I know, right?
The detectives were doing surveillance in an unmarked car at a second address when Kelly pulled up behind him. The report said he pulled on a pair of gloves, then attempted to open the door to the patrol car, then detached the license plate. Like, did he not see people in the fucking vehicle? Were they like laying down, like the seats all the way back or something, just hiding? Like, how the fuck do you miss was the window tint that dark?
I mean, that's possible.
Like, illegally dark?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're police officers. Of course they have a legally dark tint. So you got $18. I'll buy it for you. We'll buy it for you. I'll buy it for cheaper already. Anyway, carry on.
Looks interesting.
I mean, it's Life is Futile, but, like, much better. You know, so it looks like its graphics are kind of old and janky.
Yeah, I kind of like that style.
Do you actually like the old jank style?
No, sometimes. Like, it looks like it works in this game.
I mean, well, the cool thing is that, like, the building is free modular. You can build upstairs, downstairs, however big you want.
Basement.
I don't know if you can build a basement.
Sub-basement.
I don't know if you... That's way too much.
Elevator.
This is
Escalator.
This is ye olde times. There was no elevators or escalators.
Yeah, they had dumb weight systems.
All the way back in like medieval-ish times.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, well, not super advanced, but I mean,
Probably in some richer or like bigger. Like
it could be
superhouses.
done.
Yeah, it's just a fucking pulley and a platform. Of course,
Exactly.
it could be done.
Exactly.
They use those scientific like advancements for war, though, like trebuchets and other things. They didn't use it to help people. Who cares? Just walk upstairs. Get the maid to walk upstairs. That's what they're there for.
No, that's when you hear your man serve. It's like, pull the damn rope. Get me upstairs.
Yep, pretty much.
Let's see. And then Kelly became nervous when confronted by the detective. He said he was sorry before jumping into his car and taking off. After his car became disabled from crashing into the fence, Kelly ran and hid inside a dumpster for 50 minutes. When attempting to flee from police, he allegedly tried to break into King's Kid Early Learning Center at Haverhill Hill Road and Caribbean Boulevard, but was unable to get in. The details of the arrest warrant held by the U.S. Motor Service was not available. Damn.
Just like the video I saw the other day, where like this lady's just filming this dude at this beach house, and like the dude opens the door, and he's got like really like weird looking teeth, like ghettoed out teeth, and he's wearing a bra and like panties, and she's like, "What's going on over here? I heard a lot of noise. My kids are in the next room, and we just complaining about a lot of noise. What's going on?" He's like, "Hey, got any cigarettes?" And she's like, "No, I don't smoke." And she's like, "So what's going on over here? It smells really bad in there." And he's like, "It's not crack." And then eventually at the end, like close to the end of the video, he's like, "Hey," he's like, goes up, closes the door, he's like, "Shut the fuck up," and tells the dude, "Somebody shut the fuck up." And then he's like, "Hey, I'll give you $10 if you do ATM with this guy." And she's like, "What?" She's like, "What's that?" He's like, "Well, you let him fuck you in the ass and you suck his dick." And she's like, "No, I'm calling the police." He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry." It was just a funny video. I was like, "What?" I was like, "Well, I don't know." And then I think about the time with that La Quinta. Walking in that room, there's clothes everywhere, and there's a paper bag full of clothes, and I was like,
And then the ladies in the lobby.
Yeah.
Ladies of the evening.
They were pretty cute and they looked pretty decent.
They looked well dressed.
Yeah, I honestly think they were there for something else. I don't think they were ladies.
Probably. But it would amuse me.
But still, it kind of worked with what we were going with.
It wouldn't have surprised me.
No. Those are escorts. Those are the ones you pay good money
escorts.
for.
Yeah.
That's what the nicer ones in the clean ones are. It's true.
So,
Anyway, our men accused of holding up a Baltimore County bar where cops were celebrating an officer's retirement. Two armed men held up a Woodlawn bar Tuesday evening. Life is Fetal is weird, but I like it. What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? I'm talking about... Where did I have that pulled up at? Here we go. Let's talk about this game. Let's talk about Worm, dog. Let's talk about Worm Unlimited. I bought it for Trooper, and I was telling Kenneth that he needs to play. Yeah, there's boats. There's actual boats that you can sail and shit. And there's dragons, among other things. There's a lot of PvE aspects. There's horses you can get in rides. Like I said, I tamed a bull, and now it drives my cart. But yeah, talk about this game. Because it's on sale for fucking $20 on Humble Bundle, so it's like, fuck it. Better than the 30 it normally costs.
And I get 10% off on that.
Yeah, and you get 10% extra off of it. So then it would be 50. So that would be 15 for you. Nifty.
I guess I'll get it.
Anyway, two armed men held up Woodlawn Bar Tuesday evening. A group of Baltimore police officers had gathered for a retirement party, the department said. As officers were celebrating a longtime sergeant's retirement in the main room of Mom God's Pub in Gwynn Oak Avenue, two masked men approached the carryout counter nearby. Wait, what? What? Hold on. A pub with a carryout counter? What? Do they make good food? Oh, yeah, also that's free. So
yes, show that to people.
We already did.
No,
Trooper already called it.
We'll show to the folks on stream.
The only folk on stream.
I love this game.
Yeah, let me go to Humble Bundle to show you something real quick. Because, even though you have a shit computer, Psychonauts is free right now.
Get it anyways. When you get a better computer, play.
Holy shit, this is a Capcom Sega Atlas bundle. I didn't realize this is an Atlas bundle. I saw Xenoclash, I saw this, I saw Dead Rising. That's really about all I want, man. I already own Devil May Cry, so I mean, there's not really any much good here. Resident Evil 4 is pretty good, Dead Rising is pretty good, and the Sonic
There's lots of good... Well, they're doing the summer sale, the end of summer sale, Humble Bundle is.
Is it?
Yeah, so a lot of things in their store are super on sale. Like GTA 5, 55% off.
Like what?
GTA 5.
Oh, wow.
Mankind Divided, 78% off. PlayerUnknown Battleground, 10% off. Darkest Dungeon, 64% off. Rise of the Tomb Raider.
10% off, you said?
Yeah.
But you can still get it cheaper from that one site or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, all these games are really good, deep discounts.
Deep discounts. I need to look at some. Oh, dude, they have a Square Enix sale, which means
they have the Squeaks and...
that Squeenix, yeah. That would mean that Nier might be on sale, and if Nier's on sale, still
Nier is on sale.
Is it?
I don't know.
It's not on that list, but
I don't know everything here, but I know Nier's on sale on some other sites.
Is it? Nier. I think Nier is a Square Enix game.
Is it?
I believe so.
It's probably being sold here.
Probably. I don't know, you have to do the search box, I think, up there at the tube. Psychonauts is free. Psychonauts is a good game.
Psychonauts is a fantastic game.
I actually never played it. I just know it was a good game.
You should play it.
Probably. Ouch. What the fuck are you talking about, Nibble? You gotta just, all you do is go to Humble Bundle and fucking hit the store where it says a free game, click the free game button right here.
God, shit. Show them in, exactly.
Whew. Ouchie. And then you just hit here, hit the buy button, cool.
Check out, etc.
The only thing is you have to link your Steam account, which I haven't done personally because I don't want to, so I never get any of these free games. Plus I already own the game anyway.
Link your Steam account, man. Why don't you?
No, I just don't want to. I don't trust them.
Why?
I don't know.
They've been around for years. They do sound near. But not as a DVD discount.
It's not discounted at all.
It is.
No, it's not.
Well, see, it is for me.
Yeah, because 10%. You get 10% off. Definitely. Fucking Humble
Oh yeah, let me. What was I supposed to buy here? Worm?
Huh? Oh yeah. I still want to get the Honey Soccer one. Did you actually buy it, Kenneth?
I'm gonna buy it right now. On stream, live. Frankly, I'm surprised I don't own Worm, but...
I think there was one of those, Yeah, I mean, the Honey Bundle, man, it's so cheap for porn, I could probably resell most of these, honestly. All these games are like $20 games, dude, to be honest. Honey games, or not honey, but soccer games are expensive, man. And even if I play them, even if I don't play them, if I get them all in my Steam library and then idle master their cards, the cards for all of these games are worth so fucking much money too. It's nuts. Anyway, carrying back on with this thing. As officers were celebrating Longtime Sergeant's retirement in the main room of Muggett's Pub, you asked them into the thing. I talked about that nearby at 5:30. Police say Monaghan's owner Jack Milani. Oh no, Jack Milani, seriously? Wow. So the men demanded cash from the register and then took off. Some of the off-duty officers attending the retirement party gave chase and arrested the two men nearby. The department said police charged Joseph McInnes III, 21 of the first block of Inwood Avenue, and Tyree McCoy. Yo, are these boys both fucking Irish? Anyway.
The Irish and the Irish district.
Yeah, they're Irishmen robbing a pub. It's very Irish. Anyway, of the 35 random block of Cedar Drive, armed robbery, theft, and related offenses. Department spokesperson Corporal Sean Vincent said neither had an attorney listed in online court records. Milani said he was surprised that someone would commit a robbery at his business, which is just across from a precinct station. During shift changes, he said there are a lot of squad cars coming and going into the station. He said many of the officers are regular customers. It's kind of odd you would want to attempt it, Milani said. Officers are always in here. There was a decent amount of them. The party was for David Nuttall, a longtime officer at Precinct 2, Vincent said. Milani said he knew the officer. He's worked in this community as long as I can remember, he said. The sergeant's been with the department since 1988. And that was the completely, incredibly short story. How do I get Subnautica free? I think it was Subnautica. What was Subnautica? Subnautica's not free anymore. Was it ever free?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Humble Humble Bundly has all these things for sale. Humble Bundle. I need to make sure I get this bundle. I forgot. I should have checked out with it yesterday. Oops. Whenever I picked up the other thing. I was going to pick up the Telltale Games one, but I didn't. When did the sale start? Capcom sale rocks for sale. Yeah, it's Grand Theft Auto 50% off proper. Dying Lights on sale. Hive Swap. I just saw somebody playing Hive Swap. What the fuck is this? Hive Swap Act 1 Sound Edition. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? It's a game about a, like, chick. It's, like, super depressed and shit. It's, like, super hipster, the game. What? Weird. Rocket League's on sale. Dankest Dungeons on sale. Dirt on sale.
There, Botworm.
Yes! He did it!
Let me go buy the honey.
It's happening!
The honeysuckle bundle.
Yeah, I need to make sure I pick that up. It's so cheap for such porn games. Oh shit, the Elite Dangerous Commanders edition is on
Literally
sale.
buying this just to own it.
That's what they always say. That's what they always say, my friend. That's what they always say. Holy shit, the Metro Redux bundle is only $8. That's a good one. $7.50. It's a good bundle.
Okay, done.
I want to see this. I want to see if the DLC's on sale for Elite Dangerous. Because they want it to be. Commander Pack Horizon Season Pass. Read more. I want the Horizon Season Pass. Because I know it's actually on sale. Ah, it's still $20 though. Fuck. It's cheaper, like. It's cheaper to buy the game over again with the Season Pass and the other thing than it is to just buy the quote-unquote Season Pass, which is the DLC for it. Oh, it pisses me off about this game if they did that. I don't play it enough, so it doesn't matter. But yeah. Anyway, let's see if we can find somebody to host a Reno. See who we're following, see what's going on. We have Diggert, doing some sort of painting thing. Apparently there's a new drawing tablet. He's doing something with drawing. I guess he's making what looks like a new thing for somebody. I have no idea. And then we have this dude. Holy shit, he's doing a Ryzen 7 giveaway? Well, hello, Burke Black. I'm gonna go see you. Because I want a Ryzen 7. Shit, if I got a Ryzen 7 for free, I'd be like... Yeah,
She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, greyish-black clouds swirl through them.
Oh wow, he redid his
Wake up.
She doesn't
things.
stir.
New Game Plus, variety streaming characters, welcome to roleplay. I'm just playing Divinity. Follow Burke Black on Twitch. I've already done that. Bonus for Twitch subscribers, definitely not Twitch subscriber. Follow Burke Black Zero, the crew, Twitch app server. What? That's interesting. Go to his YouTube, join him on Steam, and refer friends for extra entries. 50. God damn. 15,001 total entries already? Jesus.
The Magister lies on the floor,
That's nuts.
unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound.
This sounds like a game I'd play.
What's Divinity?
Never played
I
it.
listened to it. I wouldn't either. It looks like,
To
it's
read
kinda like,
books, open your inventory, interact with the object.
it looks kind of like, what is it? It reminds me of how, fuck. I know the game, I can't get it. Diablo.
So
It
is
reminds me of
the
Diablo.
Magic's the fool. Oh wait.
Weird though. There's not very many people worth
Insist there are
streaming.
no magics to found. Even
Oh, that's
those
pretty cool.
that would block or even remove
There's anybody who
spells
wants-
within
Huh?
an individual.
I said if there's anybody who wants Street Fighter V, The Deadly Towers of Monsters, or Dawn of War 3, I've got 50% off coupons for all of those.
Manipulate all which
Street Fighter 5 would be cool. Because I like fighting games every now and again. Alright, well, whatever. I'll just let it auto do whatever, however. So let me go ahead and cut the stream off here. So, peace out, everybody.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on Tabletop Thursday, episode 23. Join us again next week as we continue covering the news and whatever else is going on North Korea and shit.
Yeah, and eventually I'll start streaming. I noticed that I've only been streaming when we do the talk shows. Oh, next Tuesday we have mine and High-Kek's anime show for sure. I think we might have D&D tomorrow. I don't know. We didn't have it Monday. I know Panda's going to want it, but I'm not sure.
We didn't have it that Friday or Monday.
Yeah, so it depends on what High-Kek's dad's doing and if we all get together or whatever. And then, you know, other than that, I'm going to try to get all the boys into Worm. Yeah! And you know, like High-Kek, but screw High-Kek, because he didn't even want to play the other games, so he's definitely not going to join us. Or do anything useful.
Although, we should get back to doing stuff together.
Eventually, yeah. We should do that.
After Worm.
Yeah? After. I don't know. Worm never ends, so maybe in the middle somewhere. But anyway, see ya, kids, and see ya, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a good evening.
We'll be on in a bit, probably, or I'll be on at least.